Hello, VOD viewers. VOD viewers. Let's see, did I want to say something to the VOD viewers? I guess I will. I feel like I should put content here at the beginning because a lot of people are watching this after the fact. Yeah, if you haven't noticed, I have not posted any videos to this channel in a while. I've been doing the streams every week, which has been really fun, and I want to keep doing those. But yeah, some IRL stuff has been blocking me for a while, and that kind of happened at the same time as I was kind of starting to reevaluate what I want to do with the videos. So it actually kind of worked out nicely, and I had a good opportunity to think about what I want to do and brainstorm some ideas. And yeah, so expect some videos very soon. I'm back to having time to work on that stuff again. And I am writing like multiple things in parallel, and I'm pretty sure I know which one's coming first, and it shouldn't be too long. But yeah, kind of. I'm thinking about doing a lot of different types of things, but kind of the main thing maybe you could think of as kind of being like sort of like Matthew Matosis theory videos, but a little less like, I think maybe a little bit more grounded, like just talking about a topic that is interesting, and but hitting it from a bunch of different angles and trying to say new things about it. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. But yeah, I'm trying to just write about everything that I'm excited to write about, you know, and feel like needs to be talked about in that kind of context format. And whenever something is ready, it'll be ready. But I'm not trying to rush it right now. I'm just trying to make good stuff. But yeah, there should be some videos coming pretty soon. How's it going, Don? Congratulations on your post void record. Both of them, I guess. Guys, something has happened in post void. Can we find it this way? I don't know how I'm gonna find it. Let me just find it through other channels. No. Wait. Post void is dead, guys. Any percent is dead. It's done. It's finished. Well, Highguard is on the list of every game I've played this year, yeah. Don got a 217,000 in post void. The previous world record was 115,000. Now you might be wondering, how did Don double the score? Great question. we love video games, guys. This is a we love video games moment. Yeah. we have literally no leads on how this score was inexplicably twice as high as a normal, like, decent score. But it's suspicious, right? Like, okay, it's suspicious that it's like plausibly a score that you would get for two consecutive runs if you could, or like two separate runs if you combine them, right? Because it's not like it's not high enough that it could be. Yeah, it's like the perfect score. It's like what you would guess almost for like it's almost exactly what you would guess for someone at Don's skill level to get like twice in a row for just two random runs. Well, yeah, it's definitely a glitch. It's definitely a glitch. But I mean the title says weird glitch score, right? I think we're good on that. I think that's fine. Um but yeah, I just really am curious. I would like to figure this out. You know, there's a kind of suspicious thing that happened in level 10. There's this other glitch in the game where sometimes it like sends you backwards a little bit. It's like you clip out of the map and then it sends you backwards a little bit. And usually if that happens, it just kills your run, which is very rare. I mean, it's only happened to me maybe 5 times in like 70 hours playing or something like that. But this was a rare case where it didn't send him back far enough that he like had to restart. You can hardly even tell that it happens. Um, but anyway, uh, yeah, I don't think that could be relevant because like that, how would that increase the score by that much? I kind of feel like it must be like taking score from a different run somehow or something, which also seems like a more plausible like source of or a more plausible like place for a bug to be located, I guess. Like the bug is kind of outside of a single run somehow. I don't know. Very very curious. Okay. New guy here. Found some of your videos on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you for caring. Yeah, the streams. Well, I don't know. I don't even know what's happening here on this YouTube channel. We're figuring it out, but we're having a good time. Jeff Keighley would be very proud having having on my list. Let's wait until let's wait and see where exactly Highguard falls on the in the rankings, and then we can we can talk about that. Okay, let's get into it because this could take a while, and I want to try to do it in one stream this time. Rather than splitting it into two parts again. So, okay, so what is this? This is ranking every game that I have played this year so far. So first of all, what does that mean? That means it's not just every game that I've finished, right? Like I've not finished this many games. Because first of all, like what does finished even mean, right? Like you can appreciate a game without finishing it, and sometimes finishing it is not enough to like appreciate a game, or right? Like there's no clear stopping point for video games, especially. But honestly, for anything, there's no clear stopping point. Anyway, yes, this is every game that I've played any amount of, which will have some funny consequences later. And then it's also it's not just 2026 games. There are a lot of 2026 games, and it'll be interesting to see what the best 2026 games are so far. And you guys can recommend stuff that I might have missed from this year so far. But it's also just everything I've played. Yeah, exactly. I'm still stuck on some of the final boss puzzles in Minute Cryptic. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Random off-topic question: with Angel games, some deaths feel unavoidable, while in Spelunky, experience allows you to foresee and prevent hard to predict deaths. Is there a similar deeper layer I'm not yet seeing in Angel game, or can you genuinely just get unlucky? You genuinely can just get unlucky, and you will genuinely just get unlucky. I want to say I talked about this a little bit in my top 10 games of all time stream, which you can go back and watch. And I talked about Angel Game. Certainly, I talked about Angel Game a lot. If you haven't seen that, yeah, I don't know how deep I got into that specific aspect of it, but I will just say, um, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me really in the way that it seems to bother people that you can just die to RNG. Um, yeah, I feel like it's a mindset issue a little bit, at least a little bit, right? Like if you are sufficiently intrinsically motivated, you are enjoying the game all the time. Like the game is the same all the time, right? And so what does it really matter if you're dying or living? Like the way my mindset when I play the game is like in the long run, if I'm playing a lot and getting better, playing well, in the long run, my PB is going to improve. But like no individual run is guaranteed to be the run, which that's like the case for any score based game, pretty much. Anyways, like yeah, I don't know. I just yeah, to me, as long as I'm enjoying the game all the time, it's not a problem. But yeah, I would be interested to discuss that and more with someone who disagrees with me at some point. That would be like a good stream debate topic or something. Um, okay, let's get into it. We can do if we have if I'm not dead by the time if I'm not sick of talking by the time we get through all this, we can potentially do some off-topic questions. Okay, starting with a classic. Starting with a classic, where's my egg? So we're gonna rank all of these relative to each other. Um, what do we say about where's my egg? I guess I should explain what the games are. So this is a very straightforward Sokoban game, which I did a review of. So I guess I won't talk too much about it because I did a pretty in-depth review about it, and you can go find that if you want to. Um, the TLDR is that I feel like these basic Sokoban games at this point. I love Sokoban. It's like I've played so many Sokoban games that I absolutely love. So many of my like all-time favorite games are are Sokoban likes, or have Sokoban as kind of the base layer. Like Steven Sausage Roll, Snakebird are kind of Sokoban likes. Jelly No Puzzle kind of. A lot of great puzzle games are kind of in the Sokoban tradition. But at this point, I kind of feel like the very basic Sokoban like that doesn't really have like a big new idea. Like in Snakebird, the idea of how the snake movement works, and in Steven Sausage Roll, how the sausage rolling works, and how that influences with the fork, and how it all comes together. Right? It's like a major mechanical twist that has like implications that you can explore in like for like 50 hours of gameplay and still be seeing new interesting things. Not so we're not talking about something like that. We're talking about a pretty basic, like there are some little twists, but they're probably kind of similar to things that you've seen before if you've played a lot of these games. These games to me are like at this point no different from like the newest. Okay, maybe not no different, but it reminds me of like playing a AAA open world or like a Sony slop movie game. Like I've just seen too many of them, and they're all the same at this point. Yeah, it has some moments at the end. It's okay. It's fine. Requiem I enjoyed more. Resident Evil Requiem I enjoyed more. Again, I talked about this game. I mean, it wasn't exactly a review, but I have a video where I talked about this game for quite a while. So you can see that if you want to. You can go find that if you want to. It was more so an excuse to talk about a certain type of exploration in video games that I enjoy, rather than like a thorough review of the game, like all aspects of it. But I did talk about it, and yeah, that gets into a good bit of what I like about the game. Like, there's just not a lot of games that. So, like, if we're specifically talking about the Grace Care Center section toward the beginning of the game, there's just not a lot of games that give me that type of appeal. Yeah, it's just rare enough that that it's cool. But you can go watch that video to see what that is. At some point, we should be getting into like some. Not sure how these games stack up against each other in my head. Maybe we're already here. Maybe we're already there, because I don't know. Do I like Karen more or Requiem more? I think I like Requiem more. It's hard because okay, so what is Karen? Karen is a climbing game. It's also kind of like a story game. you it's like a story about, someone who is insane and is, almost like Whiplash, like the movie Whiplash, like super dedicated to their pursuit and being the greatest in a way that is maybe not healthy, and getting into some consequences of that. It's also about other things, but I feel like I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, it's like a climbing game where you kind of have to look up ahead of you and like look at all the cracks in the rock and reach, pick a route, pick a spot to try to start climbing, and then kind of figure out your route to climb up these cracks and see what you can do. That's not a great description, but it's something like that. Again, I reviewed this game, so you can go and watch that. I don't know how great of a review it was, to be honest with you, but I did say some things about it. Um, I don't exactly know what makes it fall short of being really good for me, because it's interesting. I mean, there's kind of a veneer of jank to it. A lot of things feel a little bit wrong. A lot of things with the controls feel kind of awkward. I don't know if that's really, yeah, I don't I don't know if that's the main issue for me. Probably not. Probably the main issue is more just like no aspect of it really landed super well for me. The story wasn't super memorable or inspiring. The gameplay was a little bit interesting at first, but then starts to become a little more mindless pretty quickly. Um, there's exploration moments that I thought were good, but they're pretty rare. Yeah, I don't know. Hunt Showdown. Okay, so this is getting into where the concept of this stream is maybe questionable, because I've played like 5 hours max of Hunt Showdown probably, and this is a game that people play for thousands of hours. Um, so what can I say? I can only rank it based on what I've played so far, right? Uh, but honestly, I'm pretty interested in this game. I've been struggling to I've been struggling to play games with other people. I mean, I've been pretty busy a lot of the past couple months in particular, but also like I've got a few different friend groups that I play games with, but they're all so employed, right? Like everyone is way too employed. What is it? Great question. Hunt Showdown. Hunt Showdown is a what do you call it? Extraction shooter. So you go into a big map. There's like 10 teams or something. I don't know how many teams of three. The mode that I was playing, at least. And you've got like a goal where you kind of have to track down a boss monster, and then you by like looking for clues at different parts of the map. So you're going around the map for a little bit looking for clues, and then you find the boss monster based on those clues, and you try to kill it and like extract. But along the way, you're going to encounter other players who are going to try to kill you, and potentially while you're like trying to fight the boss, other players are going to come sneak up on you and um, stuff like that. And it's a pretty interesting game. Okay. There's also like a meta game where like you have a character, and as long as that character survives, it's you're accumulating loot on that character. You can get particular weapons and like a loadout and all of this stuff. But then when that character dies, it's dead. I don't know. I'm sure it's going to evolve. I'm sure the metagame is going to evolve substantially. But I will say that's one thing I like about it compared to all the other extraction shooters I've tried, which is like Marathon, Tarkov. What was that other one? Arc Raiders. The metagame is a lot simpler, seemingly. There is a big like skill tree slop element, it seems like, but I wasn't really getting into that yet. But even still, it's like there's a lot less like selling the loot to the merchant and then like figuring out what's going to go in your backpack and all this stuff. It's like, no, you kind of just like carry the few weapons that you got from previous rounds into the next round, or you kind of just start from scratch if you died. That's probably an oversimplification for people who have played the game thousands of hours, but that's my experience so far. And yeah, regardless, I think even the thousands of hours experience is a lot simpler than the other ones that I've played. So there's not this crazy learning curve of like MMO-esque cruft that I really don't like. And yeah, the gameplay. So the gameplay similar to, you know, how you probably imagine an extraction shooter or like a battle royale. I don't necessarily love how much downtime there is. At least like in theory, I am in agreement with like a lot of the battle royale and extraction shooter haters who just complain about how it's 99% running around and looting or 99% like anything that's not shooting people, right? But at the same time, like, you know, Counter-Strike is 99%, maybe not 99%, but it's a pretty low percentage of like actually shooting people. And you know, that actually kind of makes it more strategic in an interesting way. It makes the map really matter. You know, you can think a lot about where exactly you're positioning yourself, how, you know, you might want to do intelligent things where you have two of your team members doing one thing and a third person keeping watch. You know, this game also, it leans way into audio, similar to my favorite battle royale, which is Apex and Counter-Strike also. I mean, I think that's just a good thing for first person shooters to do in general, probably, but especially, yeah, these ones where you're going to die suddenly and it's going to be terrible. Yeah, as long as there's interesting things to do aside from shooting people, that's fine. But when you play, I think the problem is when you start playing these games, it's not immediately clear why it's interesting. The non-shooting people part. I mean, there's other disadvantages. The other disadvantage is it takes, if you need practice shooting people, then it potentially takes a lot of hours to get good at the shooting people part, and that feels bad maybe. Or you need to boot up an aim trainer, which feels bad, right? But there are interesting like practice tools within the game and stuff. Anyway, yeah, I have the sense from what I did play that the non-shooting parts will get very interesting and strategic later on. There's like lots of little like places where you pass by this spot on the map and it causes like the animals, you know, the birds to fly away and like potentially in a way that can potentially, you know, alert other squads nearby in a kind of interesting way. There's a lot of interesting like immersive is the wrong word, but like contextual audio stuff and contextual like cues that someone might be nearby. Yeah, it's an interesting game, and also, yeah, it feels well designed to me. I want to play a lot more of it. I don't know where to put it right now, to be honest with you. I think I might. I could see myself ending up liking it more than Requiem, but it feels weird to put it up there because I've played so little. I don't know. So far, my experience is not that great, honestly. It's more the anticipation of I feel like this is going to get good, so I'm going to put it there based on my current experience. Okay. Any immersive sim elements? Immersive sim elements. I think that's what I was just saying about the like location dependent audio cues and things like that. Like you're gonna step on a, yeah, I don't know. Feels kind of immersive sim in some ways. I gotta pick up the pace though. This is gonna take forever. Okay, Rabbit and Steel. So this is like it's a multiplayer up to 4-player game where you do these boss fights, and maybe I should be pulling up footage of these things, but I don't know. You can look them up. You're doing these boss fights, and it's very World of Warcraft raids light. It's World of Warcraft raid bosses light, where like, you know, the boss has a big health pool and you're slowly whittling away at it, and meanwhile it's going to do a bunch of different attack patterns that are based around like, oh, you can't stand in this area, or like, you know, you have to dodge this thing, or like one of you has to go over here and another one has to go over here, and you know, you have to like figure that out on the fly, and it's very much about the communication with your team and stuff like that. However, it hasn't really hit for me so far. Again, I haven't played that much of this one yet because I've been struggling to get co-op groups together. But it yeah, as someone who spent a million hours doing World of Warcraft raids back in the day and taking that super seriously, I've always wanted something to recapture that without the whole like having to do a massive grind to get to that part of the game. But yeah, this doesn't really do it for me. The fact that there's not different roles, everyone's a DPS in WoW terms. Everyone's a DPS. There's not like a tank. You know, in WoW there would be like a tank and maybe multiple tanks that have to like, you know, switch which enemy is fighting them at any given time, and like where the tank positions themselves really matters for like what the boss attacks are going to do, like because some boss attacks are relative which direction they're facing, and so there's like someone who's controlling that. That's not an element of this game at all. There's like, you know, being in range of other people in your squad is not really a major thing in the same way that it is in WoW. You have to spread from other people in your squad, but you don't have like healers who have to try to be in range of like a bunch of different people at the same time. The move sets just aren't as complex. You know, there's not like crowd control. There's not ads. There's not like additional enemies coming into the fight. I don't know. In a lot of ways, it's just, I feel like it's going to end up being too simple, but it's okay. I think I'm going to put it there. I'm definitely more optimistic about Hunt, and I feel like I have had a similar experience with the two of those so far. Okay, Order of the Sinking Star. I don't know if I should have included this, but I played the demo for Order of the Sinking Star, Jonathan Blow's new game. Probably my most anticipated game right now. The problem with this game is the good part of the game is, so this is, you know, okay, this is the premise of the game is he took 4 existing sets of mechanics, basically 4 existing complete games that were like puzzle script, like simple browser games, or I guess one of them is not a browser game, but yeah, he took 4 existing complete like small puzzle games, and in Order of the Sinking Star, you start in the middle of the map, and then you can go 4 different directions, and each of those 4 different directions has you in a completely different puzzle game with completely different mechanics. And then eventually you're going to explore the overworld and get to the places where like those mechanics are going to come together, right? Like the cardinal directions, at least at the beginning, are like the areas of the base games, and then the diagonals and probably eventually other places are where like they mash together, right? And so the problem with ranking this based on the demo is that I feel like the full game is going to just be way better, because one because it's going to let me get to the hard optional stuff, which is just more what I'm looking for at this point, having played a million puzzle games in my life. But 2, like the mashing together is kind of the good part, especially for me. Like playing the demo, I was kind of replaying stuff that I had played in these browser games that I had played before. So, yeah, it doesn't really make sense that I'm ranking this, but I'm ranking it anyway. And at least for now, it will be number 1, I think. I think I enjoyed playing this demo more than I enjoyed playing Requiem. It's kind of close, but I'm definitely really excited about the full game. Yeah, it's going to be a massive game, by the way. It's going to be like, I don't know, apparently there's like 1,000 puzzles. And some of those puzzles are pretty big. But yeah, we're kind of, as Caitlin said in the Discord, we're kind of waiting for the bus right now. This is not exactly what she said, but this is how I flipped it around in my head, maybe. Yeah. The beginning of the game is, in this game more than most games, and especially for me, we haven't really gotten to the meat of the game yet, and yet it's still my number 1 just based on the demo. So yeah, really looking forward to it. Okay, Promise 2. So Promised is one of the 4 base games for Order of the Sinking Star. I played this early this year because I just realized that I had played all of the base games for Order of the Sinking Star that are publicly available. One of them is not publicly available for whatever reason, but I had played all of them except Promise 2. So I was like, might as well play it. And I was interested because I heard it was really hard. So I played it. It was really hard. Probably too hard. It was probably too hard. In particular ways. It's like, okay, I like it because the mechanics of Promised are really interesting. It has these beams that extend like infinitely in any direction until they get blocked by something. You can kind of see that in this image, maybe. But these different colored beams that have different effects when you're standing in them, and they can kind of combine in interesting ways and let you do surprising things. And figuring out some of those surprising things is kind of the game. I like that it gets a lot deeper into those kind of tricks than Promised One. I like that it's harder than Promised One, but the way it's harder is like, here's a giant map and you can see like all the puzzles at once, but you don't know which ones you can actually solve right now. With what you know. And there are a lot of ways to try to make progress that will actually soft lock you in a way that you might not even notice that you soft locked yourself for like 5 hours of gameplay. Although that makes it sound worse than it is, because even if that happens, even if it is 5 hours of gameplay, like most of that 5 hours is going to be like thinking. It's not going to be executing. So if you had to actually execute it again, it wouldn't take more than, I don't know. It wouldn't take that long. It wouldn't take nearly that long to redo stuff, but you still really don't want to do that. And so, yeah, there's this kind of like dread looming over the play experience of like, I hope I didn't break something. And I did end up breaking one thing and having to go back quite far right at the end. But it's really interesting. I expect that they will. I expect that when we get to this part of the remake, whatever you want to call it, Order of the Sinking Star, I expect that when we get to the level that is like a remade version of this, it will be much more playable and much better. So if you haven't played it yet, I recommend just waiting for Order of the Sinking Star. Honestly, that's how I feel about all of the base games, probably. But do I like it more than? No, I don't like it more than. No, I don't know. It's kind of close. It's kind of close. Like Order of the Sinking Star, the highlights, the stuff that was new is definitely better. But the fact that I had to play all this stuff that I had played before and was pretty easy intro kind of stuff, I'll put Order of the Sinking Star above. Apparently, one puzzle is a couple of hours long in Order of the Sinking Star. I mean, I could see one of the puzzles in the demo being a couple hours long. If you, well, I guess we have to make a distinction between puzzle and level, because there's a level that has like a bunch of puzzles in it, like 30 puzzles probably are like in one big level. So I'm thinking of level, not puzzle. But yeah, speaking of one puzzle being a couple hours long, though, Theta and Paradox on World Lines. What can I say about this game? This game has been in my brain a lot this year. This game has I've been thinking about it a lot. Okay, what this is, if you read my 2025 Game of the Year post, you saw that I really hyped up Sneckbird. I really hyped up Sneckbird as my Game of the Year. That was my favorite game of last year by far. Maybe not by far, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but it was my favorite game of last year. And the reason that it was my favorite game is it goes way, it's a puzzle game that asks a lot of you in a certain way. where it has puzzles that have a lot of different things to figure out, and you don't necessarily have to figure those things out in order all the time. Um, how do I want to frame this? Well, let me just explain what I will just say that Theta and Paradox on World Lines, which I'm not going to complain about the title. Okay. Theta and Paradox on World Lines is the Sneckbird of this year for me. I'm not sure if it's going to end up being my game of the year. I've taken a break from it at this point, like pretty close to the end. It is insanely hard. It gets insanely hard by the end. If you're interested in it, you can actually, without being a complete puzzle game sicko, you can get a few worlds into this game, but probably like you can see a good amount of stuff and have an interesting time. But it gets insanely hard by the end, and I'm very close to the end, cleaning up some optional stuff, and yeah, I need to go back and spend a good bit more time with it to finish it. But I've spent like 50 hours with this game, not even counting like time that I've spent away from it, but thinking about it, which is a lot. Yeah, this is a puzzle game. It's unhinged in the puzzle design sometimes, but it's also more than that. It's unhinged all the time in like what the mechanics are. Like this is a game where the first world is about cloning yourself. Okay, but that's just the tip of the iceberg, right? Then it's like causing a paradox and splitting the timeline into multiple universes, and then it's like all this parallel universes stuff, and then it's like quantum entanglement, and then it's like yeah to get the ending, but I'm just saying to get a good amount of enjoyment out of the game, you can get through the first few worlds, which is already a ton of game. Anyway, yeah, this I'm not even that's not even half of the insanity of the mechanics of this game that I just described, because I don't want to spoil things, but it's just wild, and having to think about that kind of stuff is interesting. It doesn't always necessarily make for the best puzzles in terms of the experience of solving the puzzle, which is the main thing that holds it back compared to like Sneckbird last year for me. Because Sneckbird uses the mechanics of the original Snakebird, which I think is just like the best rule set ever for like actually making the deduction process fun. Like looking at the level and figuring out what is possible. I think the Snakebird rule set is really powerful for that. The Theta rule set is not so conducive to that. Yeah, but thank you, Misa. Yeah, it does this thing, like the optional puzzles in this game in particular. First of all, this game is very bloated, and that is going to hold it back a lot for me in my rankings. But the optional puzzles are actually really dense. Like the extra puzzles in each world, those are the highlights of the game for the most part for me, and they're very dense in a way that has become my favorite type of puzzle, and that reminds me of some of my favorite puzzles in Sneckbird, where it's not just one idea. The puzzle doesn't just have one idea, which has kind of become the norm in modern puzzle game design, to just have your level be super focused. This is like the trick of the level. This is the thing that I want you to understand as the designer, and I'm going to make the puzzle as minimal as possible to support that idea without making it like trivial or whatever. This game, the extra puzzles in this game do not adhere to that philosophy, and I love it. It's like, here is a pretty complicated puzzle, and when you first get into it, it's kind of daunting and maybe a little bit overwhelming, but you pretty quickly come to get into it in a way that's like, wait, for me at least, it pretty quickly hooks me in a way where I'm like, okay, I go from looking at it and just being overwhelmed to looking at it and being like, wait, how is this possible? Which is a normal puzzle game experience, to look at a new level and think, how is this possible? But the thing about the ones in this game is like, how is this possible in like three different ways? Like it's like the more I look at it, the more I realize even if I solved this one way in which this puzzle is impossible, there are two other ways. And how am I ever going to like solve them all at once? And sure enough, there are like three major ideas that I have to like three major revelations that I have to have within this one puzzle, which is great for a lot of reasons. I need to move on. I can't talk about this one game forever, but like I love that. I love that like looking at one puzzle, spending over an hour on one puzzle and like having this super long progression of my understanding of what's going on in this one level. It makes one level super memorable. It makes, it makes there's this thing that you don't often get in puzzle games where you have like a nemesis in the game, right? Like think about a really hard boss in a Souls like. That boss, you're fighting it for so long that you like it feels personal with that boss, right? And the boss is kind of a stand-in for the game designer also, right? Like it's the way in which you hate Bennett Foddy when you play a Bennett Foddy game. It's like you develop feelings mostly negative, but also there's some hidden positive feelings in there for this level or this puzzle or whatever, this thing that you're grappling with. Like you develop those kind of feelings for a single puzzle in this game, which is not something that I experience very often. And I think not really something that puzzle game designers try to do. And I really love that. And I think it's my number one so far. I think, yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's really hard to do that well, and yeah, kind of mixed results sometimes in Theta game, but overall, super memorable game. Have been loving it. Tales of Symphonia. Okay, I played like 1 hour of this game. How how long did we play Misa? I played like 2 hours. This is like a childhood nostalgia slop game for Misa. I've never played it, so so I was playing it a little bit, and she was watching. It's I don't know. It's a JRPG for the GameCube, and it's exactly what you think of when you imagine a JRPG for the GameCube. Okay, let me. Okay, there have been moments of enjoyment so far. There's a certain amount of charm to like a decent JRPG. The world building and stuff, and the vibes. And I'm not immune to that as much of a JRPG hater as I am. There's co-op in this game. Is there co-op in the one? Is there co-op in the Steam version? Two, is there co-op from the beginning? Because I didn't really see the option for that, but I also didn't look too hard. Anyway, played a couple hours, and I enjoyed like figuring out how to run past as many enemies as possible. Playing footsies with the enemies on the world map to run around them and not have to fight, not have to do the encounters. And I kind of enjoyed like solving the combat. There's like weird stuff you have to do. I don't know, at least the way that I was doing it so far. Like, I don't know. There's a few little things to figure out. I suspect that that's going to fall off pretty quickly. In any case, I think it goes there. um, yeah, this is honestly not like this doesn't feel like a huge range. Everything feels pretty middle of the road to me so far. Tales of Symphonia is maybe a little bit of a gap. I guess these two are a little bit of a gap below. Uh, Thank you, Cube. Okay, Consume Me. This is a game that I recommend looking into, even if it doesn't seem like it's your thing. I It's not my thing, I will say. This is a how do you describe it? It's an autobiographical RPG, I guess, or something. It's a game about being the developer of the game in high school and being super stressed and maybe having an eating disorder and trying to balance all of the things that you're doing in your life, and all of the things that you need to do are like kind of mini games and you have to like choose which mini games to slot into which time slots and manage your time and everything. Um, yeah, the story didn't really work for me. The way that the story integrated with the gameplay did not work for me. I talked about this a little bit on my Discord. You can maybe find that, or I can point you to it if you're interested. But it's a super interesting game. Like I'll talk about mixtape in a little bit, but like it's a game that is so interesting, even though it's so not for me, that it makes me mad when stuff like mixtape comes out and becomes the discourse thing for like 2 weeks, because like this is a game that actually deserves to be in the discourse, even though it's not my thing, right? Like I would like for this to be the hot topic and hear what people have to say about it. It's a really interesting game. There's nothing else like it. It's really well executed for what it is. The art is really charming. The audio, the music is really charming. I played it all the way through, even though it's kind of long for what it is. Like, you know, maybe more longer than you would expect. Yeah, I was interested enough to see it through. I'm gonna put it here, I think. Yeah. Final sentence. I need to drink some water. This is already rough. Final sentence. This is a typing battle royale. It came out this year. This might be the bottom of the list. This might be the overall bottom of the list. Yeah, it's like Type Racer Battle Royale, but okay. First of all, it's got this gruesome, like, you've got a gun to your head theming going on, which, like, I don't know if I can exactly explain why I don't like it, but it's kind of offensive in that way of, like, you know, when you're dealing with super gruesome and serious subjects, you kind of have to treat it with care. There's more responsibility on you for you to do it well than if you're taking on a very silly kind of subject or theming or whatever, right? And they just didn't do that at all. It just feels very tacky and gross in a certain way. So I don't like that about it. But also, you know, the reason that I played it is that I really like typing games, right? Like I even enjoy just like playing Type Racer. I even enjoy that. But like there's a surprising amount of kind of interesting spin on typing type of games. I'm saying the word type so much. That I find really interesting. The Texturcist, I think it's called The Texturcist, The Story of Ray Bibia or something like that. It's kind of slow to start when you're going through the story and everything, but it's a really interesting like typing bullet hell. I actually wrote about that in my 2021 Game of the Year post for the true day ones. For the true day ones out there will remember that. You can go back and find that on my Substack as well, though. But yeah, it's a really interesting game. Daniel Linson's typing challenge last year was another kind of sort of bullet hell typing game, but a very different kind of thing. I know there are other examples. What are other examples? I don't know. But yeah, it's like a subgenre that I have consistently been surprised by how much I like every game in that subgenre. But yeah, so I was wondering, like, are they going to do interesting things with the gameplay to distinguish it from like Type Racer? Like in a battle royale, you can kind of imagine, I don't know, you can have some ideas. You can have some ideas. And they did not have any of those ideas. It's just Type Racer and it sucks. I hate it. Yeah. Like you can imagine something like Battle Royale for sure. But also, yeah, you can imagine infinite things that they could do with this, honestly. Very, very disappointing. Very disappointing. Emirom. Okay, this is where it's gonna get tough. I'm looking at the top of the rankings, and this is gonna get tough. Okay, Emirom is like a What is Emiram like? In a way, it's not like anything, but in another way, it's like Metroid plus Pokemon plus Undertale plus Void Stranger plus Sylvie games or something. And it wears its influences on its sleeve to such a degree that you would think like you would maybe dismiss it based on that. And I actually had dismissed it based on the trailers before I played it. However, oh, Animal Well, that should be on the list. More Pokemon Snap than Pokemon. Yeah, great call. Um, you know, there's a if you have an influence, if you have one influence that you wear on your sleeve, then you're maybe just that game again, and that's boring. But if you have like five surprisingly like weird disparate influences and you wear them all on your sleeve, then like at some point, at some number of disparate influences that you're wearing on your sleeve, it has to become something else, right? It has to become something new, right? And that's what I feel like happens here. Like it's it's so obvious what it's inspired by in a very surprising way, but then it becomes something completely new. And I mean, it definitely falls completely new is a little bit of exaggeration. It definitely falls in the Metroid Brainia, quote unquote, kind of tradition. Um, you were figuring things out. You were in a world. You were exploring the world and figuring things out. But then it's going to turn into a secrets thing. It's going to turn into a going to turn into a peeling back the layers and wow, there's a whole nother thing going on here that I wasn't aware of. Um, I had crazy ups and downs with this game. I didn't immediately. I'm really curious to hear what other people think about this one because I struggle to know how to recommend it exactly to different people and like who specifically to recommend it to. It's like, um, yeah, I didn't like it immediately, and then it kind of slowly grew on me throughout the course of like the first playthrough. I guess is what you would call it, and then I was excited to look into the secrets, and then slow like I don't know. There were just ups and downs. I'll just say I can't really say that much without getting into spoilers because it's very easy to spoil the game. But yeah, lots of ups and downs. But the ending was very. I felt some stuff. I felt some stuff at the end. The true end, whatever that means in this game. Um, and it got me thinking about a lot of interesting things in game design as well. That's not really like why I like it, but did get me thinking about it felt like an adventure to me. Recently I was talking about like Ocarina of Time, for example, not really feeling like an adventure. Games like that in general, not feeling like an adventure when you're an adult who has played a lot of games. Whereas when you're a kid, you kind of get absorbed in it and like you the game is like hard for you. Like you get stuck for months potentially when you're a kid, but you're like thinking about it all the time. And that kind of experience gets the game into your head in a different way that's hard to replicate when you're an adult. But Emuram does some interesting things to without being ridiculously difficult. Like I think it's surprisingly easy to get to the final ending. Maybe that's wrong. maybe I shouldn't say that confidently, but it's at least not as unhinged as I expected to just get to the true ending. But it has friction. There's a lot of friction to this game that slows you down and it forces you to get the world into your head, right? Get the world layout into your head more than most games. And I don't know. There's a lot of interesting stuff that this game made me think about, but I guess I won't try to I'll try not to get too deep into that because we got to move on. But yeah, I enjoyed it overall, even though there were crazy ups and downs. I think I'm gonna put it right there. Uh, do I like it more than Order of the Sinking Star demo? How does one compare these two things? I mean, the only way that you can compare two things that are nothing like each other is just in your heart, right? In my heart, which one of these games do I like more? And I think I like Get Me Wrong more. But I'm gonna like the Final Order of the Sinking Star more for sure. Okay, Love Eternal. How long does it take to get to the interesting bits? I mean, the game slowly grew on me throughout the first playthrough, which was like 8 hours or something. I guess less than 8 hours because I was kind of already digging into some of the deeper stuff. But yeah, it felt pretty. It felt pretty like obvious. Simultaneous multi-agent movement in Theta game driving you nuts. So, um, that's one of the things that I maybe like about Theta. Um, Getting back to what we were talking about with Order of the Sinking Star, how we were playing the game from the screenshots, like the fact that we, the fact that we're trying to figure out these Order of the Sinking Star puzzles from the screenshots, ones that weren't in the demo, right? Because you can't test things out, there's this kind of interesting quote unquote gameplay experience of like, and this is like zero player. This is like there are other games that are like this, especially zero player, which I highly recommend. But like, it's the experience of like, you have to guess what the mechanics could be, right? Because you can't just go into the puzzle and mess around and see how things work and then deduce the solution from that. You have to like look at the puzzle and like think about the level design and be like, okay, well, what does this mean? What is this telling me about how this is going to work, right? Like there's when we were solving the Order of the Singing Star puzzles from the screenshots only, there was this heavy element of that, which I really find interesting. It's like a meta kind of game designery appeal, maybe, but I really enjoy it. And Theta game, by again, this is friction that changes what the feeling of the gameplay is like. It's like, because it's kind of fiddly to move your characters around in that game, like you're trying to move clones around and the clones do different things when you move different directions. Like they don't just all move the same direction. You kind of it forces you to slow down, or at least for me, it made me slow down and try to think ahead more and try to like predict more based on just looking at the level rather than fiddling around. And at this point in my deep in my puzzle game arc, I'm really into that. So I like that. Nice. Have I tried playing Ambidextro? Yes, it was all right. I think I've played similar things before. Play Soft Body. That's a recommendation if you like that kind of thing. Okay. Love Eternal. So this is a platform. It's a precision platform. It's a quote psychological horror precision platformer. What does that mean? It's hard to say without spoiling, but it's kind of story heavy. Okay, so this is some kind of remake, reimagining something. it's somewhere between a remake and an easy mode. In some sense, it's an easy mode of the original Love, which is ridiculously hard. Anyway, there's a video on my YouTube channel where I talked about this a lot, so I'm not going to talk about it that much, but I liked it. I liked it a lot. I'm feeling here. So, yeah, not going to get into it because we got to pick up the pace. Okay, Minnow, the other Toby Alden game that is released this year. One of my favorite game designers right now. This is a dodging game, avoidance game. Toby Alden has a long series at this point of these kind of minimalist avoidance games that are all very interesting and different. When I say avoidance, I mean something like dodging bullets in a bullet hell, but more broad than that possibilities. It's aight. Yeah, it's not to me it definitely doesn't stack up to Angel Game, which is my favorite in the series, the quote unquote series. But I enjoyed it. I got several hours of good time out of it. I really love the theming. I really love like the audio and visuals and how perfectly that captures the feeling of flitting around, doing these little micro movements, and you're this little tiny guy and you struggle to grab the little thingies. Uh, yeah, it's a really tight, cohesive, like, you know, Toby Alden can just do so much with so little, and I love it. And I think that Toby Alden is a genius, and it goes here, maybe. I don't know, man. All of these are so close. You hate jellyfish. It's funny because jellyfish is like the easiest in a way to avoid, but in combination with everything else, yeah. I played Grindstone for some reason. What's this developer called? Cappy Capybara Games. I wanted to look into this because so they made Super Brothers back in the day, which is a walking simulator or something for the iPhone. That's a kind of interesting game. I mean, at least aesthetically, it's very interesting. It's not interesting gameplay wise, I don't think. But then they made Below, which you may have heard of. Kind of Rain World vibes a little bit, but you're like descending deeper into this dungeon. It's a very punishing game. I don't know if I recommend. I don't know how much I recommend it. I recommend it to some people. If it seems like your thing, go for it. But it's definitely very aesthetically interesting. And man, I love the soundtrack. Shout out Jim Guthrie. Anyway, yeah, I liked that game a lot, and so I'd been meaning to check out Grindstone, but I think in hindsight, I'm pretty sure this was a completely different team um, from Below. Because look, now they're releasing 2 games 7 years, 8 years later in the same year. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but because this could have been just made in 1 year. But yeah, Grindstone, it doesn't seem like is trying to be is trying to be good. No, that's not the way I want to say that. I don't know. It's mobile puzzle slop. It's bad. It's not as bad as Final Sentence though. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, if you've never played a game like this where you're like finding the path through the whatever, maybe maybe this would be a little more interesting to you. But I've played a million games like this before, and yeah. Connect Doku. I talked about this game a lot in my. There's a video on my YouTube channel. What's it called? It's called Rant. Taking daily browser games seriously or something like that, where I talked about crosswords and connections and specifically this game. I think, at least in the original stream. Maybe I cut the Connect Doku part out of the video. I don't know. Somewhere you can find me talking about Connect Doku. It's basically 2D connections. If New York Times connections, you have to group the things into 4 categories. This is like you have to group the things into 4 categories on the x-axis, and then they also group into 4 categories in the y-axis. And I thought it was a surprisingly interesting game. It kind of gave. I mean, the reason why I talked about it on the stream is because it really got me thinking about trivia being a surprisingly interesting form of gameplay if framed correctly. Because trivia, as most people understand, is usually very stupid, or it can be a very binary, like you either know it or you don't. But it turns out there's this kind of interesting gray area, and there are ways for games to kind of play in that gray area. And yeah, it got me thinking about that. Ultimately, I don't think it's a great game. I'm gonna put it. Oops, put it in the wrong spot. I'm gonna put it there, I think. But yeah, you can go find me talking more about that. Connections. I also played a little bit of Connections when I was like preparing for that stream. I don't know. I'm never inspired to play Connections. It kind of feels like, yeah, this would be really cool if I didn't play any of these like figure out, or like guess the rule games. But the fact that I've played The Witness and I've played Octogram, I've played more serious gamer games. That's the thing about daily browser games a lot of the time. A lot of the time they're just worse versions of, abstract gameplay dynamics that exist in a bunch of other games. And those other games can go deeper on those dynamics and do more interesting things with them because they are 40 hours long or whatever and expect you to sit down and play them for a good chunk of time. Whereas if a session has to be 2 minutes long, that kind of constrains what you can do. Anyway, I do think it's a good game. I might even like Connect Doku more though. I don't know. I'm gonna put it right there. Now in this is Minute Cryptic. In the wake of that stream where I talked about browser games, multiple people pressured me into getting into cryptic crosswords, because in that stream I talked about how I think that crosswords are actually an example of a daily game that you would think is shallow, but it actually is doing something when you get into it and you appreciate it. It's doing something that cannot be done. It's doing something different. It's still very unique. Even though it's existed for like 100 years, there is a unique appeal going on that is still worth getting into, more so than like any other game that might be doing a kind of similar thing. And I talk about this in that video. You can go watch that if you want to. But anyway, people pressured me after that to get into cryptic crosswords, which I've always been interested in, but it seemed like a really big barrier to entry that I didn't want to try to get over the hump with. But I was recommended, what was it? The Quiptic, Quiptic crosswords from some guy that's like supposed to be like a entry level cryptic crossword collection. And I got into that first. And I think that was pretty good for learning. It was a lot harder than I expected, but yeah, I think it was pretty good for learning, and I would recommend that. And then later I got into Minute Cryptic and also played some other cryptic crosswords from random people and whatever. Minute Cryptic, I'm not crazy about. I don't know. My opinion is still developing on this. Maybe I'll change my mind as I get better at cryptic crosswords, but I think I'm kind of okay at this point at them. And I even tried like subscribing to Minute Cryptic to do their like not full size, but like their puzzles rather than just the individual clues. Should I try to explain what cryptic crosswords are? Let's here. This is what a cryptic crossword is. Okay, so this first bit butter. Okay. So a cryptic crossword is like, it's like clues, like, normally it's a full crossword where there's things crossing each other and stuff, but the Minute Cryptic is just, the main thing is like this daily thing where you get one single clue. And I don't understand this. First bit of margarine. Wouldn't that just be this? Surely RAM is not butter. Oh, I understand now. Okay. That's actually a good one. Okay, so the way it works is it gives you like a phrase like this. This is called the surface. And basically this is supposed to make you think about something. You have an image in your head of something to do with margarine and butter and things like that, and you're returning it to the store, right? Whatever. That has nothing to do with the answer. It's all a misdirection. It's aesthetic deception. And how you actually solve this is there's some kind of wordplay. The convention that you have to learn is that there's some invisible line at some point in the clue where everything to the left of that line is one thing and everything to the right of it is the other thing. And in this case, the 4 is kind of the separator. So all of this, this in this case is just a straightforward definition like you would have in a crossword. So we're looking for an answer that means butter in some sense. and then everything else is wordplay that is also giving you that same answer. So I figured it out through the wordplay because first bit of margarine sent back. What that means is the first few letters, the first bit of the word margarine sent backwards, so reversed, is ram. And then I didn't understand immediately why that was butter, but a ram is something that you butt with. Uh, it's something that you use for butting as a verb. So that's how a cryptic crossword works. And sometimes they get quite a bit more complicated than that and stuff. But anyway, it's the animal itself. I was thinking about that as well, but like a battering ram also butts. It's the same. It's the same. I'm sure it's the same etymology for everything. But anyway, I guess that for doing it that way makes a little bit more sense though. Anyway, so that's what a cryptic crossword is. I won't get super deep into it. It would take many hours to like talk about all the things I think are interesting about cryptic crosswords and why I think it's so good. I think cryptic crosswords in general, if I were ranking cryptic crosswords in general as a game that I got into this year, it would be like easy number one. Like cryptic crosswords, I think are like one of the best games ever. But Minute Cryptic specifically, I don't love it, honestly. I don't love their clues. The clues are not as consistently good as that other one I was playing, and not as consistently good as some of the other random cryptics that I've found. But it's okay. I've still do them sometimes and have a good time. There. That seems good. Yeah, not all clues are created equal, and yeah, it's too much to get into right now. This is supposed to be we're supposed to be going fast. Okay, Mina. Mina is not for me. Me? Nah. That's how I pronounce it because it is not for me. Uh, it's look. It's just I've played too many of these games is a big part of it. And nothing that I've managed to find. Okay, here's my experience. here's my experience with Mina. I did not finish it. I guess I should make especially clear when I did not finish games. And I'm ranking them anyway. Yeah, I didn't finish Mina. I didn't even come close to finishing Mina. I like poked around in a few different directions, like to the east, to the south. After getting into like the main town, I poked a little bit to the east, poked a little bit to the south. But then I committed west, and I fought like two bosses. There's a guy who like chases you for a long time through a thunderstorm, and then you fight him. That's where I stopped. I was not seeing anything that felt. Nothing was inspiring me from what I saw. And what more can you say than that? I don't know. Maybe this is just that I played so many 2D. I played all the 2D Zelda games like multiple times when I was a kid. So none of that is like fresh to me. It's very heavily inspired by that. And like, well, it's pretty heavily inspired by that. And like the way that the world unfurls as you explore it. There were like a couple kind of interesting little side paths that I discovered, just, interesting the way that I discovered them and interesting what happened there. But I don't know. I just really was not vibing with it overall. And then like the combat was, it was kind of interesting. But again, I've played so many of these Souls like ish games. Yeah, I don't know. Didn't click for me in a good few hours that I spent with it. So I don't know. I felt like I gave it a fair shake and it just wasn't for me. Could be wrong. But there's also there's also all this like randomizer post game. There's a million switches you can flip to to change the game for New Game Plus and for replays and all this stuff. But I don't know. It didn't seem like they really designed any one of them in particular, any one of those modes in particular, especially well. It felt like it's just here's a million options, and I kind of hate that. Mode slop. I like it when a game designer really is committed to one mode as the mode that is going to be really good, and they want to make it as good as possible, and they design everything around that instead of yeah. I'm going to say I think I like there. Yeah. It doesn't I mean it feels inspired. It feels clearly inspired by some things, but it's not yeah, it's not inspired in the sense of divinely inspired certainly or anything along those lines. Yeah, I part of why I chose the west path is because it wasn't as easy, but then it like got hard in an annoying way. So I'm like, what do you want from me, man? Like, also it got hard when I got to this like lightning area. It got like really hard in an annoying way because I had like no health upgrades at that point or whatever. I looked it up later and saw that people had like 5 times as much health as I did when they did that area. So I assumed that I picked a harder area to commit to. But what was annoying was I was so far down that path. I had gone through so much stuff that like it would have taken a while for me to trek back to the town. And like I don't know if it was a game I really loved like Dark Souls or something, and it like Dark Souls 1 or something, and it got me into that situation, I probably wouldn't mind so much. But like I was really not enjoying the game, so I was like I don't know, I should probably just keep trying in this direction. And I had already poked around in the other directions a little bit, so and those hadn't inspired me either, so or hadn't caught my interest either, so I don't know. Parking Garage Rally Circuit, I put it right next to Mina because I felt very similarly about it. Like, it's fun. It's actually, I think it's a better game than Mina for what it is, right? If it's a better, it feels more. Mina kind of has a lot of things that I'm like, I don't know if I like that, even if this game were for me. Whereas Parking Garage Rally Circuit, I feel like is a really tight like racing game, like does what it does really well. I, however, I'm just kind of sick of normal racing games. It has this kind of weird physics to it where when you start going really fast, the car starts bouncing around and potentially flipping and all this stuff. And I was hoping, the reason I played it is because I was hoping that that would get really interesting somehow, and it didn't. Maybe at a super high level, but I got like okay at it, and I wasn't seeing the vision. So a little too much normal racing game for me, but I recommend it if you want a good racing game. But yeah, my feeling with racing like normal racing games right now is like, why would I play anything other than Wipeout? Pretty much. Honestly, why would I play anything other than Crazy Taxi? Which, if you think of Crazy Taxi as a racing game, I like thinking of Crazy Taxi as a racing game because it shows me what I want a racing game to be. Like, just do something different, man. Like, or like a driving game, whatever category you want to put it into. Like, why does every racing game have to be 3 laps where you're going as fast as possible the entire time? You know? Why can't there be like routing where you're going and starting and stopping that is designed to be really interesting, and all this stuff that Crazy Taxi has that makes it so much more dynamic and unique. I feel like there's just a lot of room to do interesting things with racing games, but because it's like a genre with like simulation-y kind of appeal, people just want it to be like boring cars going around a track. What arcade racing can I recommend? You mean like literally sitting in an arcade with a steering wheel in a cabinet? I don't think I've played that many games that are really like that. I mean, I've played Crazy Taxi in an actual arcade, but oh, just not realistic, right. Well, Wipeout's not realistic. That's my top racing game recommendation. I like it a little more than like F-Zero X and GX, but those are pretty good as well. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, parking garage rally circuit is cool, but not my jam. I might even put it below Where's My Egg for me. Just just my personal. This is not a reflection on the game's quality for what it is. Understand, I also put here because very similar. It's a it's a rule discovery puzzle game, you know, kind of in the vein of like The Witness, but not good. Didn't like it. Yeah, I ranted about I ranted about it in the Discord. It's just I just think it takes a lot of care to do this kind of thing well, because it's a game where you are just given a pattern and you have to figure out what the rule is, right? You're given examples and you have to find what the rule is from those examples, and it's just some, you know, it's some rule. Um, Shout out, what is this called? Is it called Zendo? Game of inductive logic. Yeah, yeah. This is a really interesting multiplayer physical game where like one player is like, you know, they have a rule in their head, and then people have to like the other players have to like build examples out of the shapes, and the the person who made the rule is telling you whether it fits the rule or not, whether what you made fits the rule or not, and you're trying to figure out what the rule is. Yeah, I just, having played stuff like that and having played The Witness, I can't handle this bad examples of this type of gameplay. This is Places One. I I feel like maybe the most. I don't know. I don't really remember what the context for this text is in the game, but maybe it's the first game about a place, and there will be other places games where you go to other places, or about multiple places, I guess. This is by Draken. Draken is a really interesting designer uh, who was clearly a big inspiration on Laney Game, which I'll get to soon, and is maybe my game of the year. Spoiler? No, maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, but this is Drakkenslop. No, uh, it's not for me. Um, Draken recently he makes like platformers. He makes these minimalist platformers that are, they punch above their weight class in terms of like, punch above their weight. How does that phrase go? In terms of having a sense of place, you know, the kind of evocative, you know, having mood, things like that. Um, they're kind of poetic games, and not just because there's poetry in them. I play all of Draken's games because I find them interesting, but I don't often find them that good these days. And um, I don't know if he even wants them to be good in the way that I want games to be good, because I don't understand his taste at all. And also, recently he has said things about how like he makes games because it's like a therapeutic, it's like an art therapy thing for him, and he gets something out of just making the things. And you know, it doesn't, if that's your mindset, then it doesn't matter what I think. And I am probably trying to get something out of it that you're not trying to put into it at all. So yeah, not for me, but pretty interesting. uh um there's mixtape. But Draken, though, I should say, Draken, the reason that I got interested in his games in the first place is that he made a game called Starseed Pilgrim, which is very interesting. Platformer with, don't know how to describe it. Very unique platformer. You can't even say roguelike. Platformer where weird stuff is happening and you have to figure out what's going on and figure out, but there's also like randomization to it, and you have to get good at like the game generally, using the game systems to your advantage generally, which is something that I always like. um yeah, and also Probability Zero, pretty interesting game. I don't know, he's made a ton of games over the years. Mixtape, um it doesn't gain anything from being a game in my opinion. um and it's just not, it's I don't like the writing. The core problem, okay. The core problem is this thing that people have talked about before of like, I don't know where I originally heard this, but like they tried to make they tried to capture everyone's coming of age experience, and in trying to do that, they captured no one's coming of age experience, right? It's like too general. It's too like hitting the expected predictable points of a like high school going into college type of story. It's not, it would be so much more interesting if it was a lot more personal to a specific character who had a specific experience while they were also coming of age, right? And that's the same complaint that I had about the movie Boyhood, which I was thinking about while I was playing Mixtape. And I mean, it's different, right? It's totally different. But I was thinking about that because I had the same complaint about it. And I just was thinking the whole time I was playing Mixtape, man, I did not like Boyhood, but I would so rather watch that again right now than be playing this. However, I didn't finish it. I played an hour and a half or something. Probably played half of it. Good games take advantage of every aspect of the medium. That's a lot of aspects, I feel like. I guess maybe you just mean like visuals and systems and audio and whatever, but I don't think that's true either. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I was just curious because of the discourse, and yeah, it's a no. It's a no from me. Moss is like a little exploration platformer kind of thing that people were hyping it up on Twitter, and I, in the same breath as games that I like, I don't remember what those games were, but so I checked it out and I played the whole thing. I think maybe not all the. No, I think I literally 100%ed it because it's like an hour long or less. But I did not like it. I think I like it less than Tales of Symphonia. Don't like it as little as Mixtape. Yeah, I don't know. It was just super easy. There was just at no point was uninspired level design and yeah, just no new ideas for someone who has played a million platformers before. Laney, this won't make you happier. Okay, now we're back to some good stuff. We got a bunch of good stuff. Here. That was cute and you liked it. Okay, sorry. Laney, this won't make you happier. What is this game? There's also an exploration. So an exploration platformer. Looks like this. You be running around into places. You be exploring. Things like this be happening. Then you turn into a fish. There is. Oops, I forgot how to play this game. No, man, brother, yo, someone else joined me. Yeah, so the spoilers. This is a networked multiplayer game for some reason. Yo, shout out to everyone joining me. Yeah, if you start playing this game right now and come to this exact spot, you will see all of us here in your game. And we had a great time playing through this over the course of a few days in the Discord. Everyone was, everyone was playing all at the same time, and so wherever you went in the world, you would see like one of us everywhere. And yeah, that aspect makes it super interesting, and it kind of gives you leads on things that you might have not figured out before. It's a really interesting, the way that the exploration works in this game. It's a super simple. The platforming is super simple. You've basically seen all the moves already from what I've shown you, basically. However, there's a surprising amount of little tricks that you can do, and there's a surprising amount that the level design gets out of that. I guess I should say, and situations where you see something and you're like, can I get there? I'm not actually sure. And then you sit there and you think about it and you maybe watch someone else try to do it and you figure something out. So there's a lot of that. It's a very puzzly kind of platformer, even though it's also kind of technical platformery. There's some precision, there's some light, I would say pretty light precision elements to it. Although some of everything in this game is optional. There's like no explicit goal. It's just you explore. And without spoiling anything, I will say there is another major twist, because we can say that the fact that it's online is already a major twist, but there's another major twist in how the world works, which really affects the exploration and makes it very puzzly. And I won't spoil that because realizing that was a moment for me that I enjoyed. But I also just love, going to different areas and becoming a different type of guy. And yeah, it's a vast game. It's a surprisingly large game, and yeah, really great like sense of discovery, really great kind of puzzly exploration. I enjoyed my time with this game so much. Like I probably played it for 8 hours or something, and saw I think everything in the game, and it was just the most dense, joyful, interesting 8 hours of gaming this year, I think. Yeah, and yeah, I'm glad others. Yeah. There's some stuff in the game that's super precise, but that's the exception, and you don't have to engage with that to enjoy the game. Yeah, really love the game. If you are interested in that kind of game at all, you got to play it. Essential game. These games, as much as I like them, they're more my taste. They're more specific to me, and I wouldn't say they're quite as bulletproof or something as Laney game. Yeah, just loved it. Caramel Action. So you have all hopefully seen me play Caramel Action. I've talked about it enough, right? I had have an hour and a half long video talking about it. But yeah, I love. There are surprisingly few games that do the kind of speed chess kind of feeling, the like super speed chess, like yeah, that feel like that, right? That kind of blur the line between like action and strategy in that specific kind of way. And I think Caramel Action does a lot with a little. I'm a little bit worried about the full version of the game because this is Caramel Action Micro, and the macro version will be coming out sometime. And I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also a little worried that like he'll try to add too much stuff to it and it won't be quite as good for me somehow. I'm not sure, but there's definitely room to expand it in an exciting way, and apparently it's going to have co-op, which will be really interesting for that kind of game. Yeah. I could see Theta ending up above it though, but right now I think oh, that's really hard. I've played like a similar amount of both of these games. They're completely different. I think I like Theta more. I don't know. There's low points in Theta. There's points in Theta where it's kind of just too many like one idea puzzles in a row. Ah, man. I'm gonna keep it like that for now. That feels right. Okay, because I liked Caramel Action so much, I went back and played Gunvein, also by Boghog. It's much more, straight down the middle shmup in the kind of cave bullet hell tradition. You kind of know what you're getting when you get into Gunvein in a way that's not so true for Caramel Action, and that makes me like it less. I've played a lot of, a lot of cave style bullet hells. There are some really cool patterns, and it's a well-designed game. There's interesting things about it, but the main thing I was interested in is the roguelike mode, because I've just never seen a shmup try to do that. and I think it was something that the publisher made him do, and he just kind of threw it in there and didn't work too hard on it because yeah, there's just stuff you can do in design to make that interesting, and that those things were not done. But it's okay. I didn't 1cc it, but I like 4cc'd it or something. I like I like I got through everything. I wanted to see all of the bosses at least. Um, I think there's good. Derelict Star. Again, talked about this game a lot with Gate, the developer, in a video that you can go find. Really, really good game. Exploration platformer again. This is the year of the platformer, as I've been saying. Um, huge game. The movement is like fairly simple. It's like inspired by P Speed. Is that what it's called in Super Mario World? It's like this game is very inspired by like Super Mario World ROM hacks, and it like kind of. But yeah, it goes very far with momentum based movement. Uh, Lots of interesting technical platforming challenges. If you, I think I genuinely think it's up there with like most essential platformers ever. Um, the thing that the main thing that holds it back for me is like I kind of petered out at the end because I kind of like it fizzled out for me at the end and I didn't finish it because um there's just so many of these optional challenges and some of them were super interesting. Like my highlight of the game was maybe my top two, no, maybe not, but like a couple of my top highlights of the game were in these optional challenges rather than the main path. And so I wanted to make sure I saw all the interesting stuff in with that kind of, all the interesting optional stuff, but it doesn't really do a good job of like leading you to like showing. It didn't do a good job of helping me find the ones that I cared about. And so I spent a long time running around like trying a bunch of different ones, a bunch of different challenges that I ended up not really enjoying that much. Yeah, I wish I'll talk about this with control when I get to control the body, but I wish there'd been some kind of curation or I don't know. I don't exactly know what I want, but the negative aspect of my experience with this game is mostly around like here is a challenge that's mostly just a technical platforming challenge. Like there's so many of those and that I had to like weed through to find the ones that the challenges that were more puzzly that I really wanted to do. However, overall, if you can bypass that problem entirely by just not engaging with the optional content at all. Just do the main power cell challenge, like get all the power cells, which is like kind of the main game plus a little bit more. And yeah, it's a really great game. Love the level design, love the creativity. Think, oh man, it's like so close between these three. So close between these three for me. I don't know. And Theta can move around, and by the end of by the time I make an end of year list, it might be totally different with where Theta is, especially. But caramel action, it's so hard. Yeah, you have to put Theta in second and also fifth with the clone. To clone Theta and put in both. So true. So true. I do think I like Theta more than you, though. Also, you haven't even seen the best parts of Theta, I feel like. The parts that are the best to me, at least. I don't know if you'll agree. Okay. I don't know. I'm gonna keep it like that. Okay. Heat Death. Okay, so I played 3 other Gate games. because I like Derelict Star so much. And one of them is Heat Death, which is like a pretty straightforward, pretty simple, like 8-directional shooter. Like not a twin stick shooter, but like a super old school, like Robotron or whatever that game is called. Um, it was fine. It didn't. I played like a couple hours of it and got kind of okay scores and wasn't inspired to play very much more. There is like a cool twist with like, yeah, there's some cool mechanical twists. It's not like um you can just play other 8-directional shooters and have the same experience, but I don't know. Didn't quite wasn't clicking super hard for me. Maybe if I spent more time with it. I was enjoying the whatever like the third, well, the last mode was. There was some super weird mode that I was enjoying. Anyway. In the middle, right? Maybe above Gunvein. Give Up the Ghost. Now, again, another gate game, but this one is a puzzle game. But it's a little too straightforward Sokoban for me. It actually has one of the basically, maybe not exactly, but it has one of the mechanics from Where's My Egg? In at least a very similar kind of implementation. The puzzle design does get to stuff that I like more quickly. It gets to this more kind of complex puzzle design that I like more quickly than Where's My Egg. However, I didn't get deep into it. But I think I looked ahead. I think when I decided to drop it, I like looked ahead at a YouTube video and there weren't really new mechanics that seemed like they were going to be as interesting as the stuff that happens at the end of Where's My Egg. So I don't know. It just wasn't for me. Again, like I've just played too many of these straightforward Sokoban games. That it feels like AAA open world games at this point where I just don't want any more. I'm done. I'm full on that. Yeah, I think I'll do it there, but this might just be because I forced myself through Where's My Egg for the sake of the review, and there ended up being cool stuff at the end. Maybe if I had forced myself through Give Up the Ghost, I would like it a bit more. I don't know. Hard to say. Control the Body. Now this is the one that's most similar. The previous Gate game that is most similar to Derelict Star. And I think I like it more than Derelict Star, actually, which is kind of wild because it was made in like a few weeks, whereas Derelict Star was like a multi-year project, I think, with nice music, really nice music, and all kinds of polish and stuff that this game does not have. But in terms of like, I feel like in terms of how interesting the mechanics are, it's like it's almost as interesting as Derelict Star, like at the core. Derelict Star has kind of more twists that appear in specific levels. But the core of the game that's like really interesting and unique about it, the part of the game that's most unique is as substantial in Control the Body as it is in Derelict Star. And so the fact that it's kind of a smaller game is not necessarily a negative to me because it's very focused on what's good about it. And it doesn't feel small. It feels big because it's like so hard and every challenge is like a pretty distinct thing. It's like a game. It's a game with, okay, here's why I really like it more than Derelict Star though. I like it more than Derelict Star because it's so weird. It is so weird. You could not spend 2 years trying to polish a game like this up because it doesn't change, it's still going to sell 0 copies, right? This is like beyond, this is like deep Sylvie levels of weird, I feel like, of like, kind of annoying at first to like, I mean, not just at first, like the whole premise of the game is it's hard to control your body, which I like that as well. I like the theming. I really like everything about it. And compared to Derelict Star, I didn't have that same experience. I don't know. Maybe this is partially just because I played Derelict Star first, so I knew what I was getting into with Control the Body, but it also has this like three-tier system of the collectibles. It has like the green collectibles, which are like level 1, and getting all of those gets you to like a maybe somewhat satisfying ending. And then it has the yellow ones, which are significantly harder than the green ones, and getting all of those gets you to like a different next level of ending maybe. And then it has the red ones, which are crazy hard, way harder than the yellow ones. And each one is like, each tier is like a significant step up, but that gives you like a different ending if you get all of them, kind of. And so I got to the red ones, and I thought they were interesting. Like, okay, I enjoyed the green ones as kind of like a tutorial almost, and then I really enjoyed getting the yellow ones. Some of them were like really puzzly and interesting, and got into weird tech and things like that. And then the red ones get into like really like precision platformer type of stuff, and really really fiddly kind of stuff with the just weird corners of the movement system, right? Exploring all the weird corners of the movement system. But so I didn't do all the red ones. I got like a few red ones, and then I kind of was like, okay, this is the point where I will most like the game if I stop here. I will if I keep trying to get all the red ones, I will start liking the game less, so I'm going to stop here. And yeah, I just kind of like looked around at the red ones that were left and was like, this is probably how you do it. I don't know. I tried to like puzzle solve it and enjoy it a little bit before I looked it all up. But yeah, really, really, really enjoyed this game. Probably here. Is that does that feel right? I don't know. All of these are so close. First 2D platformer to have a 4-way facing direction. Couldn't tell you, but maybe. It's so good, man. It's so good. Like, yeah. Yeah. Returnal. Okay. My video that's like reviewing Soros without playing it or whatever it's called. If in case you did not realize this already, that video is basically a Returnal review in disguise. So if you want my thoughts on Returnal, go and watch that. I'm very happy with how that turned out, how I managed to get my thoughts out or put my thoughts together for why I didn't like that game quite as much as a lot of people. I think but yeah, I'm not going to repeat myself here because I'm going to try to finish this today, and we're not that much more than halfway through. I think that feels right. Okay, Spin Rhythm XD. This is another. Okay, this is a rhythm game. I thought that it would have like it has a kind of weird control scheme where you're like spinning. Either you use the mouse to spin this thing, or you use like the gamepad, like touchpad, like the touchpad on a PS4 controller or something, to like spin this wheel back and forth, and that plays into the gameplay in a kind of interesting way. I like some things about it, but it didn't feel substantially different from other rhythm games that I've played. I like for rhythm games to have substantial twists on the controls usually. I don't know. That's not like a hard rule, but that's like the main way that rhythm games can be interesting to me. I think this is a really impressive game as like a product, from like a product design perspective. Like the practice mode's really good. The like all of the options. It's like it's a very impressive complete package. The amount of options it gives you and stuff like that. But yeah, for me as someone who's played too many rhythm games, so similar to what I was saying about Parking Garage and stuff, I didn't get that much out of it, but I like it more than these games. Maybe like there, actually. It's a lot higher than I was originally thinking. But yeah, I think that's right. Reflex. Again, did a review on this game. It's one of the worst games I've played in a while. I think this was also a pretty good review if you want to go back and watch it. But it's another rhythm game that I think I don't know. I don't know. I got all my thoughts out in the review. Go watch that. I think a lot of these are going to be pretty quick, but there's some that'll take a while as well. But yeah, I'll try to get through the smaller ones more quickly. Three Sylvie games have come out this year: Sylvie's Fruit Day, and then Games Don't Have to Be Good to Be Good, and then Quest. Well, that's not the order that they came out, but Sylvie's Fruit Day is my favorite of the three for sure. So Sylvie makes like weird platformers and stuff, weird platformers and exploration games and things like that that are really hard. And I don't know. Go look at my Sylvie Games recommendations thread on Twitter. Um, Sylvie's Fruit Day is my favorite. It feels just more substantial than the other two. First of all, um, yeah. What do I say about this game? I mean, it has a couple of little interesting realizations to make about the movement and the routing and stuff, but not as there's not as much to the routing. I think I would like to see a game like this, but a little bit more involved, where like the different routes there's a reason to do more different routes, and the routes are more distinct from each other. It's like about exploring and figuring out different orders that you can do things. It's almost, you get abilities from picking up different things, and then the order that you pick up those things matters a lot, because you're also going to lose access to some abilities when you pick up certain things. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's an interesting concept, but I feel like it wasn't really all there for me. However, it is a Sylvie game, and it was interesting. I think I put it there. I think I put it there. Okay, games don't have to be good to be good. This is much more of like a short joke game. It has one little funny thing about it that you figure out, and then the game kind of solves itself from there. And it's short, it's like the 2-minute game. uh, but I liked it. It was funny. Games don't have to be good to be good. I would say here, and then Quest. Quest is, I think, my least favorite of the three. It's a little more. There's a little bit more to it. Um, and it's this kind of like figure out what the rule is kind of gameplay. Sylvie's very inspired by Tower of Duraga, which has like uh just random, like the designer picks some random rule, and if you do that rule on this screen, if you do the right thing on this screen, which is not signaled to you at all as a player, then something special happens. And she has a few games that kind of explore that from different directions. Like Sylvie RPG is the one that I think it's really done well in that game. uh Quest kind of just felt like, I don't know. I guess the controls in this game are kind of weird. There's some weird, interesting things about it, but it just doesn't really come together for me. But now that I'm remembering it a bit more, I think I might put it above. Games don't have to be good to be good. Yeah, that's true. The final boss was cool. Final boss was cool, but I think I keep it there. I don't know if it was supposed to be an argument that games don't have to be good to be good. I think it's more of a just a statement. Just It's a statement. Okay, and then Battle Nerf, which I played because Sylvie recommended it. Um, I had never heard of the designer before. Um, it didn't really seem like my thing. It's an impressive game. It's an interesting game. I see why Sylvie likes it. Um, I remember the boss fights. I honestly barely remember the levels. Is it kind of like Mega Man-ish levels almost? And then boss fights kind of interspersed throughout. Um, the boss fights were the more interesting part to me. There was some like crazy attack patterns that like overlap in weird ways that were fun to try to solve. But overall, the game was not really my jam, and I think it got hard in a kind of annoying way after a few hours that I wasn't really vibing with. Uh, yeah, I got maybe not a few hours. I can't exactly remember, but I got to this worm boss, and I was not having fun figuring that one out. And the game was not really my jam even before that, so I decided to drop it. No, I'm gravitating to like this spot for some reason. Does that feel right? I think it does feel right, actually. Okay, and then I played 4 Stephen Lavelle games this year. Because Oof came out. Well, Oof was coming out, and I figured that was my excuse to go back and play the previous Stephen Lavelle games, bigger Stephen Lavelle games, the ones that released on Steam. Because I've played like a million of his browser games, but from the ones that are on Steam, the only one I've played is the popular one, which is Stephen Sausage Roll, which I absolutely love. I respect Stephen Lavelle a lot as a designer, even if sometimes he's making stuff that I don't really care about. Unfortunately, these three all not they don't fall into the like I don't really care about them category, but like it's like this is an interesting idea and it doesn't I don't know, it's somehow not executed in a way that's to my taste. Um yeah, Hypno Cult is like a abstract action game that's it's very very hard to explain, but it's a lot about like parsing what is happening on the screen, you know, learning how to read what is even happening very quickly. Like it's kind of like Super Hexagon meets Space Giraffe, if that means anything to anyone. uh, but yeah, it was interesting, but I don't know. What is my criticism of this exactly? Some of the levels are a lot more interesting than others, but I don't think that's really I don't think that's getting to the heart of why I didn't love it. I guess I kind of feel like there isn't that much to it. The skill building is largely it's a lot more muscle memory than you would maybe think. Yeah, I guess I expected it to be more about building the sense of what I'm looking at, and it was a lot more about muscle memory and less about that. But there is that component to it. It is a significant component, but yeah, a lot of the time I felt like I was doing the same simple activity for a really long time and not really gaining a lot of the part of the game that I was interested in. But it's definitely a better game than I liked it more than this stuff. Maybe more than Mina. Put it there. Oh yeah. I need to try English Country Tune again as well. Yeah, I talked about that when I was doing the puzzle game tier list. But yeah, I need to do that. Mask Quest is really interesting because it's like an action platformer with a twist, with a very core twist, and it just made me realize how rare it is for an action platformer to really be unique. You know, you think action platformers they're all kind of they don't often have a big idea at the center of them that distinguishes them really strongly from all other action platformers the way that like a puzzle game usually does, right? And this has this like breathing and holding your breath element to it that integrates with a lot of the enemy things and level design things. um I think that the levels didn't really do it for me because I don't know, I guess I'm not a big action platformer guy in the first place most of the time. So maybe I recommend this if you are. If a unique action platformer sounds interesting to you. Because it felt like it was a well-made game in a lot of ways. But the levels were really simple, first try type of affairs most of the time for me, and then occasionally I'd have to retry one a few times, but it wasn't like, oh, here's a really cool thing that I had to learn how to do or had to figure out. It was all kind of like the things that I had to do to get through the game followed pretty naturally and were pretty obvious and were made pretty obvious by the level design. So it felt like a kind of cool, it was like a fun roller coaster ride of going through and seeing all the things that happened, but it was the experience of playing the game in my brain was not that good, I feel like. It got pretty Kaizo-y. There is a hard mode, which maybe that gets very Kaizo-y. I didn't get into that because I just didn't like the main game enough. I mean, I tried it a little bit and it didn't seem like it was solving my problems. Or yeah, maybe creating a different problem. Maybe it was creating a different problem. I'm not sure. But I think I like it more than Mask Quest. I think I like it more than these Sylvie games. Wait, why did I say Mask? I like it more than Mask Quest. I like it more than Hypnocult. Uh, we're gonna go there. Okay, and then Uff. Uff is the one that came out this year. It's a game where you're an egg and you roll and jump around. You can go back to the stream where I streamed the whole game. I streamed playing the game from start to finish in one sitting. You can hear some thoughts if you if you sit through that. I don't know if you want to sit through that, but maybe you can go to the transcript and find the parts where I said interesting things about it. Yeah, it was fairly intuitive to me how the egg would work, and I figured it out pretty quickly. And then most of the game felt like forcing me to get slightly better, get marginally better at controlling the egg, but not like significantly better, or like not like realizing any new things about it, or realizing how it works in a new situation very often. Sometimes a new situation, like that part where you roll way down that slope. That's substantially new, and I really liked that for that reason. But yeah, most of the time it was not really hidden for me, but I do like it more than Mask Quest. I might even like it more than these games. I think I probably put it there. And I enjoyed reading Sam from the chat, his writing, his essay about it. that made some interesting points. Okay, now I don't know how to pronounce this. Akaratu Turkiara. Don't say what it means in the chat, please, because it's a spoiler. This is a 1 minute game. I think I've beat this game in less than a minute, and I think it is the best single minute game that I've ever played. I don't know how many of those I played, but like, it's hard to imagine a minute being more packed with, or being more interesting. Packed is not exactly the right word, because it's not really like a lot. There's not necessarily a lot to it, but it was very interesting for how short it was. And I could see people having a bad experience with it. It kind of, the way that it works, you could just beat it instantly, or beat it really quickly without realizing what's going on. But my experience with it was really good. I had the full arc of it, which is like, you have you're confused, you're figuring out the basics of how this works, because it's so different from any other game, and then you realize what is basically happening, and from there you come up with one goal, and then you figure out how to make that goal happen, and then that goal establishes for you what you're actually supposed to be doing, and then you figure out how to make that happen. It's like this funny little back and forth motion in your thoughts. I really enjoyed it for how short it is, and how kind of stupid it is. I think I'm gonna put it. I think I'm gonna put it like here. This feels so dumb, but I think I'm gonna put it there. It feels absurd to put it that high, but I think that's what's happening. Okay. Pull chain, I feel the exact same way about this that I feel about Give Up the Ghost and Where's My Egg. For whatever reason, I like it less. I don't know. I guess the level design wasn't liking as much from what I played. Raby Man, I guess is how you say it. Really aesthetically weird and interesting game. Basically, you are the breakbeat man, and you've got two like whatever you call the discs that like a DJ uses or whatever, or maybe they're just like records, whatever. You can see it in the thing. He's holding them. You got those like spinning around you as like a defensive thing, and then you can like throw them as an offensive thing, and it's like kind of shmup like, uh, but really different the way that the controls work and everything. Oh, and also you're on like lanes. You don't your movement is not like analog. You like tap to switch between lanes. It's a game that is not comfortable to play, or like, it feels like more strain on your hands than it's worth. Like I don't like I've played I've done like Majora's Mask speed running for many hours, which like is a lot of strain on your hands, but like that feels worth it. It feels like the hand effort is worth it to get what you're getting there. And this is like, I don't know. You're doing a lot of like just tapping back and forth to switch lanes, because you have to switch lanes to make your disc spin around and defend you. And like, yeah, I wanted to like it. But I got pretty deep into it, and there was still something that I felt like I hadn't figured out, or if I had figured it, or if there wasn't something that I hadn't figured out, then it was kind of jank with like how the defense works, how the discs blocking projectiles works. And I don't know, I looked up Zarok or Zarok, however you say it, Zarok, who's often in the chat here. I looked up, I found a video of him playing the game better than I had played it yet. And I didn't really feel like, I didn't get the impression from that there were major things that I hadn't figured out yet. So I'm not sure. It felt like maybe I could have been missing some little thing, but overall, I don't think it's for me. Because also it just felt a lot more like routing, not routing exactly, but it didn't, the levels felt pretty solvable in a way. Like, I'm not framing this correctly. I don't know. It's been a minute since I played it, and I'm not remembering it super clearly. But it got to a point where I felt like the way to clear the levels was just to try them over and over again and slowly remember what happens in them, rather than learn new things and improve my fundamental skills. So I don't know. I like the weirdness of it. I might put it like here for weirdness. Highguard. Highguard. Highguard is underrated, I will say. Because everyone was hating on this game super hard, but it's still not a good game. This is the game that happens when you just say, you decide that you're going to invent a format. You're going to invent an entire format for a shooter, for a competitive multiplayer shooter. And then someone says, okay, well, what's the idea for the format? And you say, I don't know. Then you just end up like taking two existing formats and shoving them together in a very awkward way, or like three existing formats, maybe. I'm not sure. It just doesn't really work. The most interesting part of the game is like, I feel like the part that they thought the least about and just kind of threw out there, which is like the mounts, how the mounts interact with combat. Like when you're out in the open spaces, the way that they let you reposition, but in a kind of limited way, it's kind of interesting. The sieging the base part, that's like the more constrained part, but it also feels that is maybe the most enjoyable at like a basic level part of the game, but it feels simple and stupid, and the same thing like compared to other siege type games, counting like Counter-Strike as that, right? And Rainbow Six Siege, obviously, and stuff like that. Like compared to games like that, it's very simplistic and stupid. And why would I play this when I could play those other games? Better than Mixtape, though. Better than Moss Moss. I'm going to say better than Tales. For me, no. I think I have to stop here. It's pretty bad. I'll get back to bonus questions at the end. I should have. I expect to have energy to for some off-topic questions at the end. But if you have to go, well, I guess you just have to check back in. Check back in with the VOD later. Okay, here's like several games. We'll knock out several very quickly. We'll knock out 6 very quickly. These are all games that come from designers who do interesting things, who have done interesting things before. And I played these games because I like the designers, some of the designers' other work. You can check them out if you want to. Here's all the titles that I'm scrolling through. But they're not, none of them were for me, I think. I tried to find what was interesting about them and failed in all cases. I'm just going to throw them somewhere. Gonna throw this one there. Gonna throw this one. Throw this one a little higher. Throw this one quite a bit higher, actually, maybe. Throw it there. I just the tough part about these is that I don't even really remember. Like, I just don't even remember these games. Actually, wait, this one is not from a designer that I knew. This is something that someone recommended on the Discord, right? Yeah. This is I forgot about this game. It's like a action game that has like a million different modes, and they were all fine. Again, make one mode that's really good, please. But I played a good number of them and got decent scores in some of them. It was pretty fun actually. I'll go there. Yeah, I won't get into this one. I ranted about this one on the Discord already. It's kind of cool though. I kind of hate it, but I also kind of like it. Okay. Knocked out a lot. Mecha Chameleon. Now this is where this stream concept really is going to raise some eyebrows, because I played this game. You know, we're ranking all of the games that I played this year. I played this game for like 10 minutes because of a video that I'm working on. However, and I don't feel like it's for me. I knew before I even bought it that I don't think this game's for me. I just got it for the sake of getting footage, potentially. But the thing is, I actually like the game. If I have to rank it, I want to rank it highly. I want to rank it pretty highly because I like the game in a way that I don't actually have to play it to enjoy, right? I like watching the videos that pop up on my feed. Like the best, this is not a high bar, so don't treat this as very high praise, but like some of the best short form videos that I have seen, period, have been videos of this game, right? I've been because of this game, because of the things that are good about this game, the things that are well designed in this game. So I feel like I like the game, right? Like this is the opposite. This is the opposite end of my opposite end of the spectrum from my Saros review or something, right? It falls into that same category somehow of like, you know, with Saros I said I don't have to play the game to know that I don't like it, and with this I say I don't have to play the game to like it. Like I have gotten something out of this game. I like the game. It has, as a work of art, it has worked on me, and I don't even want to play it. So you know, this is my stream and I make the rules, and we're putting it we might even put it there, honestly. I think it's a good game that I don't want to play. This is, you know, a wise man once said, a great game that you shouldn't play. You know what I'm saying? It's a great game that you shouldn't play. Yeah, YouTuber bait gem. Exactly. Exactly. I like it. I find it very entertaining. And it's, it makes me think, things about game design, right? It does things that other games don't do. I mean, it's kind of in the spy party category, right? Yeah, you have to admire the idea as well. It's kind of in the spy party category in a very simplistic normie kind of way. And I think there's also just a lot of there's just a lot of it's easy to credit the YouTubers who are making the funny content out of the game, right? That it's easy to credit the specific videos, the specific situations, and whatever for the humor and for the entertainment rather than crediting the game. But I think if you look at like the poses, right? You look at some of the level design, you look at like the poses, you look at the art design in general. I think the game deserves a lot of credit. I think it's a really well designed game. That's just not for me to play, but it is for me to watch. um, yeah, I putting it above Sinking Star feels a little bit disrespectful, but again, I'm sure Sinking Star is going to go up when I play the full game. Um, okay, great game they shouldn't play. I put this next in the order because this is in the same category for me as game that I shouldn't play but that I admire. This is from Justin Smith, who made No Breaks Valet, which is pretty high up on my list of favorite games of all time. And has also made a lot of interesting stuff: Desert Golfing, Golf on Mars. A lot of interesting, like really, really minimal games. What's that bear Enviro Bear? I like that one. No Breaks Valet to me is head and shoulders above the rest of his work, but I think a lot of what he's interested in is just not really for me, and this is kind of in that category. But this is like peak game that you watch Northern Lion play and riff on. So the problem is, and this is the weirdness of like having to judge a game before you play it and how that interacts with ranking games that you haven't actually played versus ranking games that you have played. The weird thing about this is because this is from Justin Smith, a designer that I like, I played it before Northern Lion, and I didn't know it was going to catch on with streamers, and I didn't even know it was that type of game that I would want to just watch instead of play, right? I wish I had just watched Northern Lion played instead of playing it. That would have been more entertaining for me, and that would have been a better experience for me overall. But I played it and I didn't love it. So my actual experience with this game is like going to be kind of low on the list, I feel like. But I don't know. I do it. I admire it more than a lot of this stuff. I'll put it like there, maybe. Man, I'm wanting to put it higher. Actually, I'm wanting to put it higher. I guess enough time has passed that you know I remember the funny things about it, the funny ideas, and the meme potential and all of that more than I remember my actual experience trying to play it. I think I'll put it I think I'll put it we gotta stop. We gotta stop somewhere around here. I mean, whoops. Stupid app. Put it there. But yeah, I'm happy that the game has sold really well for him. Very happy about that because Justin Smith is great. He's also a Cinco head. Justin Smith is a major Cinco head, so gotta support him for that reason. Multitask. I was talking about something on stream or somewhere, and Person Man recommended this. I think super old like Flash game. I think about doing 4 different things at the same time. It has that slow ramp up. It has the waiting room aspect that I don't like of so many like arcade-ish games, or like score chasing kind of games. I mean, but other than that, pretty interesting. But I don't know. It's what you expect. It's what you expect for this type of game. But it is fun. I think I'm gonna go like here. I always wondered if Prop Hunt is actually kind of fun though. I don't know, probably probably not as fun. An Untitled Story. I feel like this is gonna make people sad. This is a beloved Maddie Thorson game from 2004 or something, probably. I don't know exactly. Um, Maddie Thorson of Celeste fame, of Mario ROM hacks fame, I guess as well. Uh, do people know? Do people know her from something else? I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I guess Jumper, yeah, but that's still that's a relatively niche thing compared to Celeste. But anyway, this is like a Metroidvania precision platformer, and I just really wasn't vibing with it. I don't know. I didn't play it for very long, so I could see myself maybe giving it another try at some point, but I think I'm gonna go like there. I don't know. I like Celeste, so sorry. Knight's Try again. I did a full review, so I'm not going to talk that much about it. Um, yeah, you can go back and watch that. This is like the first video that I made when I started doing this channel again this year. So maybe it's maybe it's not the best review ever. I was getting back into the swing of things, but I did a good job of like explaining what I thought about it at least, and probably said some interesting things. It was okay. I yeah. There's nothing else quite like it, and that makes me want to put it a little higher. Be like there. I feel like I like it more than this Sylvie game, and this was Sylvie game. Stop here. You don't think that's really controversial? Okay. Someone was telling me, uh, Albert, who was just talking in the Discord this morning. I mean, he has super weird taste, so who knows what's going on there. But I think he was saying he played it recently and was really enjoying it and was, yeah, I can't remember what he said. Okay, 868 back. Again, this is stupid because I've played like 2 hours. I've played like maybe less than 2 hours. Played maybe 1 hour of this game. However, what right? Like how how can you not? Like, okay, I mean, it's hard. I can't not put this in first. Is the thing. I can't not put this as my game of the year. Okay, if you don't know, this is the new game from Michael Bro. It's probably his biggest game ever in terms of like complexity of the system. It's a roguelike, it's a minimalist roguelike. Minimalist is maybe not the right word anymore with this game, but it's kind of in the same vein as Syncopas and things like that. And yeah, I really like what I've seen, and I can't wait to put 1,000 hours into it. And I just don't have the time right now. I have other things that I'm prioritizing other than playing this for 1,000 hours, but maybe I'll hop on soon and just force myself to do a kind of low grade, like, one Jogo per day type of vibe. But I don't know. That seems like it's gonna be hard. I'm afraid it's gonna hook me and absorb 200 hours. And I'm not gonna get anything done for 2 months. But yeah, from what I've seen, I can't not rank it first. Sorry. Yeah, I want to try Artisan of Glimeth. It doesn't look right up my alley, to be honest. I would be surprised if it ended up high on the list, but yeah. So this is Vesper.5 or Vespers, also by Michael Bro. I've been wanting to play this game for a long time because it's a Michael Bro game that I hadn't played. And they were doing the Secret Lives of Games podcast was doing they are doing the year of Bro or whatever. They're talking about all of Michael Bro's games for a year on their podcast, which check that out. To get inspired to play all the Michael Bro games that you should play. But yeah, I had kind of put this off because Okay, so what this game is, it's a daily game. It's a daily game where you take exactly one step per day. Okay. And it kind of frames it in a way that's like encouraging you to make a ritual out of it. And but that's all the game is. It's literally only 4 directional movement, and you just take one step every day. And I think this is a really cool idea. And um, I've always been interested in it. And I've heard so many people speak surprisingly highly of it. Like people I respect speak of it as if there's somehow so much more in it than you would think based on the description. But I always put it off because I already, play games in a ritualistic kind of way sometimes, like I played Syncopause that way. Like I played when I got world record in Syncopause, I had been playing for like a year, one Jogo per day as like a ritual every morning, first thing when I woke up. And I had, I just felt like I had already thought about this kind of idea of playing games as a ritual and didn't expect to get much out of it, out of playing Vespers. And I could not have been more wrong, actually. And maybe this is very personal to me where I am, where I happened to be in my life when I played this game. But I just finished this game recently, like after playing it for like 4 months or something. But I had such a surprisingly profound experience with this game. It was really moving. Just, I don't know how much I can capture. Okay, let me just do it. I'm one thing I'm thinking about right now is that I might make a video about this game and maybe other games that kind of fit in a similar category in my head. So I don't know if I want to give away all the juice. Okay, how about this? No one's here right now anyway. No one's watching this. Everyone who is watching this has to swear that if I make a video on this game in the future, you will watch it all the way through and leave a algorithm boosting comment, okay? Okay, so I'm sure I'm not going to cover everything off the cuff right now anyway, so it'll still be an interesting video. But the lore that some of you know, if you've been following me since my speedrunning days and stuff like that, is that I have been dealing with some pretty debilitating chronic health issues for years. And I promise this is relevant to promise this is relevant to why I like Vespers. Yeah. I've been dealing with chronic health issues for a long time, and things are looking up recently. I've been clawing my way back from that basically for a long time, from being basically completely disabled, like 3 or 4 years ago, and it's been that has just been such a major arc of my life and thing that has consumed so much of me as a person over several years. And so obviously, well, yeah, let's just leave it at that. And recently, the reason I started doing stuff on this channel again, doing game criticism stuff again, is because I've made major strides in recovering from my health problems. I feel a lot better recently. I'm much more regularly able to do anything. And I still have to be really careful. I still have to this is actually something that Michael Bro has talked about, funnily enough. When he made this game, this would not have been on his mind, but since then he's also dealt with chronic health problems, which he's talked about a lot with regard to 868 back development. But you when you deal with something like this, it changes, at least the way that I had to deal with it. The way that it happened to me, it wrecks your relationship with ritual. Okay? It like like okay, if you're a normal healthy person, if you're a reasonably healthy person, you can just have habits in your life that take care of a lot of what you need to do in a given day for you, right? Like you don't have to think about brushing your teeth in the morning. You don't have to think about, your daily routine and the things that you do every day habitually. Habit is an extremely powerful thing that gets a lot done for you with minimal brain power. But when when you want to do certain things at certain times of day, but sometimes you're just incredibly tired and can't do anything and need to just fall asleep in the middle of the day, or you can't even sleep, but you just have to rest. Um, or like, you're trying to do things and your joints are hurting so bad that you feel like shouldn't um you shouldn't keep pushing them in this particular way, and you have to like you have to start treating everything in your life as much more of a um tentative thing. You can't plan to do things at a specific time, and so you can't maintain habits in the same way. Like you'll like I had such a long phase in my life where I might be doing better for like feeling better and able to like start to build habits for like a week, and then I would have a terrible week and I would have to like like basically go back to like not having any habits anymore, right? And I have to like you have to then adjust everything in your schedule, and everything in your schedule has to be flexible, and everything, just the basic things that you have to do to be healthy and to for me to claw my way out of these problems that I had. Those things, those basic things take up so much of your time and energy that like it's just miserable. And so I hadn't really realized that. I mean, I had sort of, but playing this game while I was kind of coming out of a certain phase of that process and of this part of my life, it really just the way that the game makes you examine, or wants you to, if you meet the game on its terms, right? It wants you to examine your relationship with ritual and make a ritual out of the game and meditate on what that is, right? What's meditate on what is going on here. And yeah, I just had this super interesting experience of like, how do I want this extra thing to fit into my life, and how does that relate to all of the things that I do every day and the way that I structure my life in general. And it was just surprisingly profound for me, partially because it relates to all this personal stuff that I just talked about. And hopefully you have at least some sense of how it relates. And I didn't just rant about that in a way that sounded like complaining for no reason. I'm not trying to complain. But it also, it's also just beautiful that this, every day you boot up the game and you see the entire sequence of moves that you've made in the game up to the point that you're at. And for me, playing this game as I'm coming out of my chronic health problems, and I've made so much progress. I feel so much better now than I did even a few months ago when I started doing the channel and stuff again. And even then I felt a lot better than I did 6 months before that. And, it's been nothing but forward progress for me for a while. But just seeing this 3 or 4 month arc of gameplay where I just took one step per day. This game took less than like an hour probably of total playtime, but it by using calendar time as well, by playing with calendar time in this way, it became so much more than you would think it could be, because it comes to represent a large arc of your life. And I'm like looking back, and I kind of changed this. I kind of changed the ritual, the way that I was playing the game toward the end. But for a long time, the way that I was playing was I would only boot up the game and take a step that day if I was feeling good enough to like do all of my normal routine that I really want to do every day. Right? I wouldn't do it just I wouldn't do it unless it was a day that I was feeling good. And so looking back and seeing, like, it shows you, right? It shows you all the steps that you take every day. It shows you all your previous steps every day. And so it's like every day I'm feeling the weight of all of these good days that I've had that like 2 years ago, I wouldn't have had a single good day like that. And it was just like, it was just really powerful. And I think some fraction of that is probably applicable to other people, but obviously most of it is extremely personal. But that's the experience I had with the game. And, I don't think Michael planned for anything like that in particular to happen to anyone when playing this game. However, this game made me think about a lot of interesting things, and that's part of why I also want to make a video about it. But it one of the interesting things about it is just like how big of a gap can be bridged in art when the artist is really trying to reach out to the audience, and the audience is also trying to reach out back the other way toward the artist, right? Like when you really try to meet the game on its terms and get something out of it as much as possible, and the artist really tries to let as many people get something out of it as possible, like you can have a kind of weirdly unintended experience. And my experience was pretty unintended. The way that I specifically thought about it, at least, was really unintended in a lot of ways. But it also felt totally true to what the game is, and it felt perfect. And I love this game. So yeah, it replays the entire walk. Good timing on the spam message. I had to lock in to get that explanation out, so I didn't see it while I was in the middle of it. Does it go there? I don't know. I just finished it recently. It feels like I need to sit with it more. But like, man, I love I loved the game. I loved the game. It's tough. It might go here. It's like, this is even harder to compare. Like, right where I was talking about how hard it is to compare two completely different experiences. And this is like, what I just described, it's almost not the gameplay at all. Like, even less than like a normal walking simulator is like the gameplay, the actual appeal here. It's like, what's good about this game is much more like what you would expect from something in a museum than a normal game. And I think it's really cool that video games can do something like that as well as the other thing that I obviously like as well. And yeah, it's just, I'm going to be thinking about it. I'm going to be thinking about that. It feels like so far in its own category of why it's good compared to other games that it's kind of mind-blowing, and it makes me wonder if there's other space around it that hasn't been filled out for other really interesting games. Yeah, there's so much more I could say about it, but that's probably enough for now. So yeah, this is my ranking so far. I think I like that. Laney has something going on with it, that's for sure. One thing that's cool about Laney that I didn't mention earlier is I was thinking about this because Gate the other day was like talking about Super Ghosts and Goblins and how it has a double jump, but it's like a super limited double jump. It's like a double jump that's constrained in really interesting ways. And I was saying, yeah, like, I don't like Super Ghosts and Goblins level design at all, but it would be cool to see something like that in other games. But I kind of realized, like, Laney game is kind of like that. It's a double jump that's constrained in an interesting way, and the level design gets a lot out of that. I was also thinking about La Mulana, Lama Lana also has a kind of weirdly constrained double jump. Maybe probably there are other games like that, but um, but yeah, that's. I think Laney Game is just. I don't know. I can't say. I can't say what's good about Laney Game. It's just really good. This feels like a troll on us, honestly, that I put this at the top. But I would be shocked if it doesn't end up being my game of the year. I would honestly be shocked if it doesn't end up being my favorite game that came out in 2026. But yeah, uh, feels good. Feels good. Okay, let me answer that other question. Also, are there other games? Are there 2026 games that I specifically games that came out in 2026 that I haven't played? I know Artisan of Glimeth came up, and I probably should try that. Anything else that's not here? Oh, we got some favorites. Let me scroll back and answer that other question first while you guys post your favorites. Where was it? Have I played any Magic Tower / fixed value genre puzzle games like Tactical Nexus? I think it's a very interesting niche genre that deserves more acknowledgement. Yeah, I've talked a little bit about Tactical Nexus on this stream before. I remember spending a long time talking about it because it took me a long time to figure out how to talk about it. And I feel like I'm feeling that feeling. I'm feeling that weight sinking in me again right now. Like I don't know how to explain my feelings on Tactical Nexus. Really, it's just it doesn't. I feel like what I get out of it is not worth what I put into it in terms of time. I feel like that's the TLDR of my core issue. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like there's just so much that you have to load into your head with every individual level to get really good at that game, to really make progress after a certain point. You have to like it feels like shmup routing, right? Where it's more effort than it's worth. Like the puzzle, there are interesting puzzles to solve there, but to get to the most interesting puzzles, you have to learn so much of this arbitrary, like what specific enemy is in this specific, how each floor is laid out. Like there's so much arbitrary information that you have to load into your head that's not interesting before you can then do the interesting parts of the puzzle. Ritual type game for you for a while, yeah. I think it would work well that way for sure. At least work better that way. But yeah, I don't know if I ever want to put that amount of time into it. I played maybe 15 hours of it and felt like I understood what was going on. And you have to respect the enormity of it at least. But yeah. Do I still go by the sausage and Majora's Mask speedruns? No Majora's Mask speedruns in the foreseeable future. And yeah, I changed my name just because most of the people who are interested in my game criticism, they know me by my real name. So yeah, and I wanted to multi-stream this to Twitch as well. But I don't know, maybe I should change it back to the sausage and just stop streaming this on Twitch. I don't know. It seems like about half of my audience likes chatting on Twitch and the other half likes YouTube, so it's kind of tough. What else? Artisan of Glimeth puzzles all feel like time sinks for you. Yeah. Pen and paper kind of puzzles. I just don't know how much. I don't know how much there is in like the space of simple pen and paper puzzles that I'm really interested in spending more time with. Like I've done a good number of maybe not a good number. I've done some pen and paper puzzles in my life, but the ones that draw me in the most are like these crazy ones with like complicated, like Sudokus with complicated rule sets, a bunch of extra rules on top of it, where it's like so much extra stuff on top of it that you can kind of create structures in your head of like how to think about it, right? It's like you have to learn how to even think about it at a very basic level. I don't know. I like stuff like that. Again, I like these puzzles that you can grapple with one puzzle for like 2 hours or something, and realize several interesting things about it within the same puzzle. And Artisan doesn't really seem like that. Also, I played their previous game and I really didn't like it, but it does seem Artisan does seem better than that. Esoteric Ebbed. Have I looked into that? I've heard of it. CRPG. Okay, probably not for me. It's one of those terms that I can probably just immediately say not for me. Is there going to be gameplay in the trailer? Um, I'm guessing this is just not for me. I don't know. Zero Parades for Dead Spies. Saros Neo 3 Pocopia. Okay, I don't think our tastes are very aligned based on what I'm seeing, but could be could be wrong about one or two of those maybe. Not supposed to don't IDK if I'm not supposed to ban people. I wasn't sure how to delete the message. I didn't get mod training. Whoops. The rules for mods. The rule for mods is do whatever you want. So good job. you passed the test. Have I tried Lorne's Lure? It's on my wish list. I need to try it. I cannot read Japanese. I'm sorry. I like the smiley faces though. Squid Invasion. Wait. I forgot about Squid Invasion. How could I forget? Okay, Squid Invasion. Do you actually want me to say where it goes? I don't know. It's like somewhere in the middle. No, I don't play a lot of demos. The only reason I played the Order of the Sinking Star demo is that I knew I was going to hear a ton about it, so I figured I should get out ahead of that. Usually, I just wait and play a game when it comes out. And honestly, I wonder if I should have done that even for Order of the Sinking Star, because it's pretty unfinished. Even just the demo part, there's a lot of things that they're going to change, I think. Yeah, okay. Why doesn't it bother me that Angel Game can just screw you over? Wouldn't the game design be more appealing if it were always fair? Now that's kind of a different question than what I was saying earlier. Would it be more appealing if it were always fair? Probably. However, maybe there's something that you get from it not being fair that is interesting. Yeah, I'm not prepared to say like I wouldn't say that there's no trade-offs there, and I think it fits the vibe of the game actually that you kind of have to learn to let go, right? If it fits the feeling that I like about the game of the mood of the game and everything, that like on a gameplay level you also have to learn to kind of let go in a certain way of need for fairness or something. Also, I just think fairness is super overrated in general. Yeah, I mean, think about what you'd have to do to keep the core gameplay of Angel Game, the basic dodging, like intact, but make it fair. Well, you'd have to add something. So at the very least, we're getting rid of minimalism as a possible positive quality that the game has, right? We're getting rid of some amount of the game's nice minimal nature, but also like the first way that I would think about to do it is like you get a shmup bomb, right? You get shmup bombs and you I don't know how exactly it would work, but like you get a free get out of jail free card like a shmup bomb that clears the screen and it like recharges every minute or so, and you start with 2 of them and they recharge like that. Like you could do something like that, and it would make the game tremendously more fair. But then it's like an infinite game, and you don't really necessarily want it to be an infinite game because you could, if you're good enough at the game, you can survive forever like that. Probably. You don't necessarily want that. So then you maybe want to put an ending on it, and then the scoring system is like you have to make some scoring system around like streaks or something like that. I don't know. You have to do something complicated. It becomes very messy very quickly. Whereas like the game as it is really also it just changes the core gameplay that you have a shmup bomb, right? It's much more hyper focus. I'm locked in. I'm tensed up. I'm ready to bomb at any given moment. The feeling of it is totally different. The fact that it's just the dodging, and on top of that, the fact that the vertical movement is done for you, and it's not under your control, it makes it so that that minimizes the inputs. Also, that reduces the number of inputs that you're doing. It makes it much more relaxing. Makes it much more like zone out kind of feel. So yeah, you're maybe making it more like every other avoidance game out there if you're putting a shmup bomb in it, in terms of the core feeling of it. So yeah, not immediately clear. And like the fact that it could potentially go on forever it could theoretically go on forever, but in reality it can't because of the RNG is maybe cool. And yeah, ultimately I don't really care because it doesn't matter to me. Like it's still a pretty, like your PB is still pretty representative of your skill level at the game. Like any individual run is not necessarily very representative, but your average run is going to be representative of your skill level, and your best run is going to be pretty representative of your skill level. Like because you're not just doing one attempt, you're doing like you can do hundreds or thousands of attempts. So yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't see it as a negative. I don't see the lack of fairness in any individual attempt as a negative. I really do think it's a mindset issue. If the unfairness bothers you a lot, like yeah, it's only unfair as you let it be. I think that's true. It is a little bit unfair though, because there are big, you can get a big outlier run that's just way better than whatever. I mean, that's what the current world record is. The current world record is a big outlier. Don skipped from freaking 200 and something, 220 to like 360 or something. And no one's even tried to beat it since then. And that is a bad thing. That is a negative that like, it's better if it's more fair for competition because it motivates people to play the game more. And, even if I am not going to think about it that way, even if I am not going to play the game super competitively, I like for people to, it increases my enjoyment in a Mecha Chameleon-esque way that increases my appreciation of the game when people go deeper on it and get a really good, impressive run, and then I get to watch that, So, okay, good stream. We sure did rank things. We sure did rank things. Yeah, I'm a big Baroka, aka Toby Alden fan. Very big fan. Yeah, we need to get Northern Lion into Angel Game. I don't think that would be good. Yeah. What's next from Toby Alden though? Can't wait to find out, and I won't have to wait long probably to find out. Can you recommend a game from 2025 instead? Sure. Sure. Also, what are we looking forward to the rest of 2026, other than Order of the Sinking Star, which I'm not convinced is coming out, and I honestly kind of hope is not coming out until 2027. It seems like it needs a little more time. Cheese Dreams. Well, I don't know what was published under or whatever, but yeah, as a designer, I'm not talking about the brand. I'm talking about the person. Cheese Dreams game. Okay. Why does it say Shovel Knight Dig? 2008? What's going on here? Vox Atomica 2026. Let's go. Are you you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but are you thinking about putting it on Steam or something? Are you thinking about trying to get people to buy it? I guess is the main thing I'm wondering. It's going to be a Steam release. That will be interesting. Somehow that is interesting to me. It's on backlogged. Okay. 2025 Cheese Dreams. Is it a remake? A highly nonlinear experimental game with over 600 screens made by the creator of Revenge of the Sunfish. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is either. This is like some, yeah, I wasn't, oh wait, Jacob, this guy. Hang on. Hang on. I think I've played one of this guy's games. Does he have other games? Uh, can you see him on this? No. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. I think I've heard the name before at least. Okay, I'll have a look. I'm gonna keep that pulled up. Revenge of the Sunfish is like if Ultra Nothing didn't have gameplay. Well, I haven't even played that yet. Oh, Ditori, is that a puzzle game? I remember hearing that. There's also that one that looks kind of like Order of the Sinking Star. Yeah, this one could be good for sure. I've seen Blukerstein. I've seen that guy around, that person around. A lot. Seems to understand puzzles. I'm not seeing. I'm not sure how much there is to this core idea that I haven't seen before, but it looks promising. I will play it for sure. Hopefully, it will not be "Where's My Egg" core for me. Yeah, my eyes are peeled. Oh, okay. We got it. We got stuff on our heads. I didn't notice that when I looked at the game before. That makes it a little bit more interesting. What's that one with the gargoyles and stuff? Outpour. Is that coming out this year? Maybe not. But yeah, some of these look promising. There's just the fact that it's really 3D looks promising. Blocks obbies. They're surprisingly in-depth and unique 3D platforming challenges. Only problem is there's no game that's well designed to teach you all the tricks. I've seen some like Roblox game speedruns. I don't know where they like move crazy fast when they're like flying all the time and stuff. I don't know. Have I played Mina the Hollower? Yes. Here it is in the rankings. Number 28 favorite. It's my 28th favorite game that I played this year. However, I didn't finish it, so take that with a grain of salt. Um, yeah, just not really for me. I think. Unoxy. What is that? I don't think I've looked at this at all. Can someone make something that's not Sokoban though? Okay, this is a little different though. That's that's interesting. I think. Might seems kind of too powerful. Maybe they have a way of making it less powerful. Yeah, I'm interested in this. Will wish list. Too many words. That's another thing I didn't like about Mina. There were a lot of words, and I didn't like the words. Not very many games really need words. I feel like this is my takes are getting really stupid and reductive at this point in the stream, so I should probably end the stream. Okay. Okay. 3 hours. It was a good one. was a good one. Thanks for hanging out. Peep this beautiful list. Okay. GG sample name. Sample name. I started watching The Curse, by the way. Guys, who's seen The Curse? Classic Fielder verse TV series, The Curse. Don't spoil me, please. Don't spoil me. I'm 3 episodes in, but it's it's really interesting so far. It's really interesting. Yeah, you should maybe hop on it. It's from Nathan Fielder, the guy who did Nathan for You and The Rehearsal, and was involved with How To with John Wilson, all of which I highly recommend. Honestly, I just think Nathan Fielder is one of the greatest artists working today. Love everything he does. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I'm that's what I'm doing. Samp and I have talked about this before. That's why I wanted to say it. Oh yeah, the Concrete movie. I'm not sure. We got to look into that. The John Wilson Concrete movie. Okay. All right. See you guys next time. Bye bye.